clever pun. The conversation.
The cow's hormone-infused stomach acids have caused my body to go from 4 years old to 15. I've now lost as many years as the Donkey Kong series lost between Tropical Freeze and Bonanza.
Hello and welcome to the Kongversation. I'm Hyle Russell.
And I am Dustin Jackson.
Hey, I know that guy.
I don't.
Oh no. Dustin has been stricken with amnesia.
What is this?
Oh no, the Switch 2 was just too big for Dustin, and he dropped it, and it fell on his head, and he forgot who he is and what he's doing here.
I saw little birds flying around my head. You know what the weird thing is? I remember the Switch 2, but I don't remember the Switch 1.
Yeah, so you remember the one game you have.
Yeah,
for the
pretty good though. That's a pretty good hit rate.
That's pretty good considering that's what we're going to be talking about today. Phew.
Yeah. Well,
oh man,
100% of the Switch 2 games I have are good.
Really could have been bad if I had you on for some sort of retrospective on Mario Tennis Aces or something.
We would have been fucked. I would have been like, who's Mario?
Well, I'll talk slow and allow you to jog any memory that might have slipped out of that skull of yours.
Thank you.
On June 5th, we entered a new era for Nintendo and a new era for the Donkey Kong universe. Mario Kart World, the big launch title for the Switch 2. Yes, but most importantly, for freaks like us, it's
my goodness,
the video game debut for the tweaked Donkey Kong design that represents this wondrous new EPD era of Donkey Kong. And even though our focus at DK Vine has been on Donkey Kong Bonanza, and rightfully so because we are DK Vine, I mean, cut us some slack, we've also been extremely positive about Mario Kart World. And that might be surprising if somebody hasn't strolled into our neck of the woods, but remembers us from way back when, that we're positive about this game that changes Donkey Kong's design and, at least at launch, doesn't have Diddy or any of the other Kongs in it. I mean, this would be the kind of thing we would be frothing at the mouth over if this was 2014 or 2004 or, it's surprising for those not following our journey, at least.
Yeah, luckily, thanks to the explosive amnesia I got, I completely forgot that I hate this new Donkey Kong design, because now I love it.
Great. Yeah, it might be the open world concept that intrigued us. Same reason when Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was announced back in 2018, and they promised everyone is here. That got me on board with the game. And also playing the game at E3 and realizing that I liked the way it played and it felt really great. But it got me on board even before I learned about K. Rool or Banjo and Kazooie. And, it's not really hard to please me. If you can have something impressive in there, I will gravitate to it, even if you don't promise me the world, a wealth of characters or explicit DKU connections. So,
a Mario Kart world, one might say.
You might say that. You might. But it could just be. Maybe I'm just being prone towards optimism when it comes to my video game entertainment. Because we do have a new 3D DK adventure that's guaranteed 6 weeks after Mario Kart World's launch. So I'm just more agreeable with everything Nintendo is doing as of late, including everything that everybody else is complaining about. Oh, $80 for Mario Kart World? I'll pay that happily. I'll smile and laugh and there'll be a little bit of spit coming up out of my throat, and we'll all just be happy with my financial ruin because I'm getting a new Donkey Kong game in July, and that's all that really matters when it comes to my relationship with Nintendo.
Right. I mean, that little extra bit of spit coming out of your throat makes all the difference.
It lubes up the process.
Right, it makes everything go down nicer. Yeah, I mean, I don't love that Switch 2 games can go up to $80, but I'll pay it. I'll pay it if I want it, if I want the game. I got the Switch 2. I shelled out the dollars.
Yeah. The worry that we all had of affording a Switch 2 or obtaining a Switch 2 or then receiving our Switch 2s, that's all in the past now. At least the DK Vine staff. I don't want to feel exclusionary towards anyone who has not gotten a Switch 2 yet. And why are you listening to this, though? I don't want to spoil you for Mario Kart World. If you don't care, then that's fine, and I don't want to exclude you. But, just be careful. Be careful ruining the experience for you.
We don't want to spoil that Donkey Kong drives a car in this one. Oh shit! Did I just say that?
All right, but there's some things people might want to be delighted over, and then might not want to be witness to before they get to experience it themselves. I had to dodge spoilers the day it came out because I did not get my Switch 2 until late in the evening. It didn't arrive until late in the evening, and FedEx lost my Mario Kart World somewhere in the state of Pennsylvania. So
you had a little adventure with this.
I did, and then my Bear Hike provided me a copy of Mario Kart World because I do have to buy physical when I can, which, let me tell you, when you buy physical Switch and Switch 2 games, when you have to transfer your account and your data over to a new version, a new iteration, it does not take nearly as long as everyone was complaining about when you only buy physical when you can and you only buy DKU games. I'm just like, what is everybody complaining about? This is great.
This worked out great for me.
We all have Switches or Switch 2s. I mean, we might have all Switches too. Switches as well, but we also have the Switch 2 on the DK Vine staff. And now we can talk about it. We've spent over a week experiencing Mario Kart World. And now that we're living in this new reality, this new era, we can do our Mario Kart World first impressions. How are we feeling about the 10th mainline iteration of Mario Kart? Yes, Mario Kart Tour counts. And how are we feeling about this entry in a game series that has been generationally divisive? And we'll get into what we mean by that. But basically speaking, depending on when you grew up, that will depend usually what your preferred Mario Kart is, your preferred style of Mario Kart. Well, how does this rank against all of them in our long tortured history, our relationship with Mario Kart over the years? How does Mario Kart World stack up?
I'm excited to find out. I'm gripping my toes in anticipation.
I'm gripping so many things on my body right now, I can't even begin to tell you.
Oh, darn.
There's going to be bruising come morning. But before we get into the vulgarities of my body, of my form, I want to quickly plug a couple things. We are still in Stinky Ape Summer, Dustin. We are waiting now for Nintendo to do a Direct or a Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct, or preferably both. And we're going to have our big live episodes for those when they happen. But we're kind of now in the taking it easy part of Stinky Ape Summer. We're going to have some big episodes of the Kongversation between now and Donkey Kong Bonanza. Did you know Donkey Kong Land is turning 30 years old? We got to do something about that.
I had no idea, Hyle. Oh,
Yeah,
this calls for celebration.
It turns out things are going to start turning 30 years old. It started last year with Donkey Kong Country, and it's just going to go from there.
I don't like that.
Yeah, just wait until they turn 40.
Ew.
So anyway, please keep with us. The best is yet to come in this Stinky Ape Summer. I say that because our Stinky Ape Summer episode so far has been nothing to talk about at the Xbox showcase, and boy, isn't Platonic sad right now. So the best surely is yet to come.
It's really stinky this year so far.
No, Donkey Kong's the main attraction this year. It's fine. And we have Donkey Kong guaranteed on his way. I mean, he's here right now. We're going to talk about him a little bit today, but you know what I mean. You know.
Just a little bit.
So yeah, follow us on YouTube, subscribe, do the likes. Follow us on Blue Sky. And as always, thank you very much to our patrons. Now, we have been on a string of live conversations as of late, so this kind of gets obscured. But for the run-of-the-mill conversations, the nitty-gritty, the episodes that do the hard work and get none of the glory, we live stream those for our $5 and up patrons. So hello to our lovely patrons: Chocolate Milk Drinker, Freezer, Me Muppet, Just Andre, S Monaco 14.
I love chocolate milk, so I can really get behind that.
Giga Strike is also here. Last but not least, but I was scrolling up, so actually first.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, so let's go. We'll be checking in with them as we record, but Mario Kart World first impressions. Before we really share what we think about this, though, I do think it's important to set the proper historical context to explain where we're coming from. And, any idiot, any asshole can just spout off their opinions on the internet. Turns out it happens every day. And what I like to do to really set us apart is to explain where we've come in our personal histories with a game series or a particular franchise. And I really think like that helps establish the mood and also our frame of mind. You know, some people are just comparing this game to what immediately came before, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And
right.
We're going to do that, of course, but I want to go all the way back, our complete Mario Kart history. I won't belabor this. I'm not going to stretch this out too long, but really quick, for those who don't know, Super Mario Kart, the original, I only rented that from Blockbuster Video back in the day because I am old as crap now, like a piece of crap that has been out in the fields, petrified, like you might see at Moo Moo Meadows, for example.
This is a good podcast.
I rented it back in the day. I never owned it, unless you count me having a Nintendo Switch Online subscription now as owning it. I don't think that counts. But yeah, I played as Donkey Kong Jr. I wasn't very good at it. It was a novelty. And that's about it. Mario Kart 64 was my Mario Kart because it was the first one with the modern Donkey Kong. The rare Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong, Super Donkey Kong, as they might call him in Japan. And yeah, I loved it. I loved Mario Kart 64. It was exciting. It was exhilarating. And then Diddy Kong Racing came out later that year, and that completely upended all of my feelings about Mario Kart 64. I still liked Mario Kart 64, but from that point on, Mario Kart 64, and indeed the entire Mario Kart franchise, would come in a distant second compared to the holy grail of kart racers. Because it wasn't just kart racing, they had planes and hovercraft, Diddy Kong Racing, and DKR laid down what a kart racing game could be if it was more attuned to my sensibilities. And by that, I mean it had a story. It was set deep in the heart of Rare's world. I mean, it established Rare's shared universe. I just did a video about that. You should go watch it. And
there's a rooster in it.
It has a rooster.
Cool.
It had a rooster, and it rooted it all in a particular setting. You weren't just bouncing around wacky locales, like a mountain that might be chocolate and a boardwalk that might be haunted. Spoilers,
it was more than just the courses.
Yeah, it was set on an island. You knew where you were. And you also had character motivations. Like, this rooster doesn't want to be a frog anymore. It's great. It's great stuff. And
yeah, riveting.
It also, of course, had non-cheating CPU opponents, and it had a more balanced tactical item system. And it made Mario Kart feel cheap. And I don't just mean the fish if I was stuttering.
Oh, Hyle, you with the jokes.
Yeah. One day, I'll perfect one.
We'll see.
Still, I wasn't not a fan of Mario Kart, Dustin. Like, I remember, even after Diddy Kong Racing, being like, ooh, I wonder how Mario Kart's gonna top this. Like, ooh, we have a war. Ooh, like, we have the kart racing war between Rare and Nintendo. How are they gonna try to outdo each other? And I enjoyed Mario Kart Super Circuit. It was kind of wonky to control, but it was my first Game Boy Advance game, and it felt like a great handheld continuation of Mario Kart 64. It was Double Dash, infamously, that sort of broke me, and where I had a falling out with Mario Kart. And I've already explained my history with Double Dash on this podcast. Some people might be shocked hearing somebody speak ill of Double Dash. I loved the overall concept. I loved having Diddy in Mario Kart. But I found the items imbalanced. I didn't like the overall art direction. Eyes on everything, super bright, plastic, pastel. It felt fake. It felt like it didn't have a sense of place, even though many of the tracks were connected. Like, you could see other tracks in the backgrounds of the tracks. Like, oh, I'm in Dino Jungle and there's DK Mountain in the background. That part was cool, yes, but it just, to me, it felt hollow when I didn't feel extremely frustrating when I was trying to 100% it as Donkey and Diddy in the DK Jumbo. I did it, by the way, finally, in 2010, but, it took me 7 years. And Mario Kart DS was even worse. Mario Kart DS was my personal low point when it comes to Mario Kart. I liked the Rambi Rider. I liked that you could design your own icons. That part was cool. I liked something in every Mario Kart. I'm not somebody who dismisses everything just because I don't like a game. But Mario Kart DS, it felt even worse with the items, and Donkey Kong was shit ugly in that game.
He had those teeth. He had those teeth.
He had the permanent, rictus grin. The Joker venom got into his gums. And just like that, when I think of the Rare Donkey Kong design post-buyout and all of the struggles Nintendo had with it, I think of that one in particular because that was them trying to do something with that model that model could not do, especially in such a low poly version of it. Yikes.
Yeah, not a great looking game in general. I feel like it's hard for me to think of 3D DS games, not 3DS games, but 3D games on the DS that look particularly great.
Which I can forgive that, but then don't have Donkey
Right.
Kong be grinning all the time.
Yeah. Boy, does he look. Would you say that's the worst he's looked in a Mario Kart?
That's the worst he's looked, period. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you dig up Wrinkly's corpse right now, it would still look better than Donkey Kong's Mario Kart DS model.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Mario Kart Wii, I felt like it was still kind of in that era. I mean, Funky was in it, and because of that, people know who Funky Kong is. That really...
Yeah, that's cool.
That was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool pull to get Funky Kong in there, because that makes sense. If you're going to have another Kong who's well-versed in the automotive ways of the engine, then yes, Funky Kong makes complete sense. But it was kind of just a marginal improvement. It wasn't until Mario Kart 7 that I felt like things were starting to turn around for me. I liked Mario Kart 7. I played it quite a bit. Of course, Retro Studios co-developed that, and through them, we got a very faithful Donkey Kong track.
It is a good track.
3DS DK Jungle, as it's commonly known now. But Donkey Kong's model looked pretty good in that as well. So thank you, Retro, for all you did. Mario Kart 8, I really did love it, all things considered. I had my criticisms of it, especially once the DLC, the original Wii U DLC, started up and there was still no Diddy Kong. But at the time, I mean, Andre pointed out in the chat, I liked Mario Kart 8 at the time, and I still really like Mario Kart 8. That's never changed. But it was a history of feeling like something was missing. And in that case, it was my favorite character. And eventually, 10 years on, that was rectified with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And we got Diddy and we got Funky.
Yeah, sooner or later, eventually we got them.
But Donkey Kong's design was kind of ghastly in that still.
Boy, do I hate it.
You really hate that one. I think you hate that one even more than the Mario Kart DS model.
Yes, and the reason why is because the DS is more of an underpowered system, I can kind of let it slide. Like, it's still very ugly, but it's like, okay, I get it. But there was no excuse for how bad he looked in 8.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked Mario Kart 8. I do. I do. I still do. I will always like Mario Kart 8. And I felt like they finally got the item system balanced again, where it didn't feel completely unfair, where it had that degree of spontaneity, but it didn't feel like you were just being punished for racing well.
Right.
And I think where I really did have criticism of Mario Kart 8, even when it came out, was it just felt like the general safeness of the series kept it from being ambitious. That Mario Kart was such a esteemed brand with a pedigree that it didn't want to do anything daring. And I was still comparing it to Diddy Kong Racing. I was still comparing this 2014 Wii U game to a 1997 Nintendo 64 game. And I was still looking at this N64 game and saying, that did more than this game does now. Yes, Mario Kart 8 looks way prettier than Diddy Kong Racing. But for me, that lack of ambition, that lack of pushing the genre forward, or even trying to push Mario Kart forward in any real way, was starting to irritate me. And of course, Mario Kart 8 sold so much, especially with the deluxe version, that what do I know? I mean, who cares? Who cares what I'm saying? Because Nintendo made bank on that. I mean, repeatedly made bank. They own multiple banks because of that game. And
that's so many banks.
Yeah, we eventually got the characters we wanted in it, but it took so long, and by that point the game was kind of played out, and there was just this kind of sadness about it where, yeah, it wasn't very ambitious, and it took a decade to get the characters we want, and by then we're just all kind of strung out from this experience. And yeah, Oh, and I've also basically beaten Mario Kart Tour, and I'm one of the only sickos on the planet who can say that. So that's my history with Mario Kart. Dustin, I don't know where you want to chime in.
Yeah, I mean, so I didn't have a Super Nintendo growing up. I was a Sega kid at the time. But my cousin had a Super Nintendo. And so whenever I was over there, I would play, Super Mario Kart with him. And I liked it, you know. I liked Mario. Even though I didn't have a Super Nintendo, I knew Mario. My parents had an NES, and so I was like, oh, I know these guys. So I only played it a little bit. Mario Kart 64, I never really played that much of. I didn't really know anyone who had it, weirdly enough. And it was, by the time I did play it, it was after I played Diddy Kong Racing, which I loved. So I wasn't wowed. I think to this day, it's still probably like the Mario Kart I have the least reason to go back to.
It hasn't aged well. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't make it bad. Just personally, it's not one I am, champing at the bit to go back to. Even Super Mario Kart, I think, it's basic, but there's a novelty to what it is. I'd be more willing to replay that than Mario Kart 64. But I did have Double Dash. Mm-hmm. And, Hyle, I know your feelings for Double Dash, but I like it a lot myself.
Okay. I will say Double Dash is probably a grand old time if you're not obsessively tethered to the Kongs.
Oh, well, I think by that point I was. By that point I was totally all about DK Vine. I had gotten the Donkey Kong games I could get. I think I might have gotten a used Super Nintendo way after this, but I had played the DKC games enough. I was like, oh no, I love the Kong characters. By that point, I did want to play as Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong. But my combo was Diddy and Paratroopa just because they are such a good unique item combo. Because you have Diddy's giant bananas when you're in the lead, but if you're behind everyone, you get the triple red shells of Paratroopa. You're sitting pretty with that combo. But, I just like the concept of it a lot. I also did not love... I think overall I liked how it looked, but I also didn't like eyes on everything.
Yeah.
It's so weird to say because DK Mountain is so all about that. You have the eyes on the trees, the face on the volcano. At the same time, I think I'd say it's my favorite Mario Kart track. It's just a fun layout. It's fun going uphill then downhill. And 8 improved how it looks at least.
Yeah, I really like the way Mario Kart Tour and 8 Deluxe kind of redid DK Mountain and kept the eyes but scaled them back to be more natural features rather than beady eyes just staring at you.
Yeah, instead of a living volcano man, it's like someone carved this face into the volcano. That I can get more behind. That I'm fine with.
Or if you're going to go the eye route, make them big googly eyes. None of this beady eye shit.
Yeah, what is this, Mario? Get out of here. But yeah, I think I've played every other Mario Kart. Oh, I totally skipped Super Circuit. That was also my first Game Boy Advance game. I played a lot of that just because, as a kid, that was one of the GBA games I had at the time. It took a while before I got some more. So I played a lot of that. That's another one I really don't have that much interest in revisiting. Mm-hmm. But, I have a soft spot for it. Then, over the years, I played a lot of Mario Kart Wii. I played a lot of that with my sister. I think I've played every Mario Kart since a lot with my sister, at least the console ones. So like to this day, we play a lot of Mario Kart 8 together. And that leads us up to World, which I have also been playing, just like the other ones.
I'm glad you've been playing it, Dustin, because...
Thanks. Yeah, that would make this episode hard to do if I didn't.
A lot of bullshitting, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I hear Mario's in this one. That's cool.
Yeah. All right, Mario Kart World. Fuck me, this game rules.
It's pretty good.
Oh my god, I love it. I love this game.
That's good. I'm glad, like, especially with your kind of tepid relationship with Mario Kart over the years, having this strong a reaction to it is great.
This is what I have been waiting for. This is what I have been wanting the Mario Kart series to do. To nut up or clitoris up to like actually try. And
they should have put that on the back of the box. Mario Kart finally clitorises up.
It's not too late for the re-release when they do the million seller player's choice, whatever, player select, whatever they call them now. It's not too late. Okay?
That would sell copies. They'd be like, well, I gotta play this now.
I can finally know where the clitoris is.
Yeah, it's in the overworld.
God, I don't care what anyone says, Dustin. The connected game world makes this... It completely changes Mario Kart for the better. And I'm not just talking about free roam. So many people are just focusing on free roam. And I love free roam. Free roam's great. I'm glad it's there. But it almost just feels like a sweet little bonus. The little cherry on top for me. Because for me, the connected game world completely redefines my relationship with the game's core feature, the racing. And it makes the racetracks themselves feel fresh. It makes them feel exciting. It makes them feel always vibrant. And I'm intrigued by each and every track and their relationship with the greater world around them.
I agree. I agree with pretty much all of that. I'm really loving this game. And, you know, I know a lot of people have said, like, oh, there's not that much to do in the overworld. Free roam is empty. And I on one hand, I can kind of see where they're coming from. It really is just like a bonus little mode. It's not like some big campaign or anything, but that's fine. I like that. I like just driving around. I like taking it easy.
Yeah, I'm wondering how many people who have this complaint have never just driven anywhere to drive. Like a road trip or even just, I'm going to go out for, I mean, assuming, you know, you have a gas-powered automobile, it's probably bad for the environment to admit this, but I mean, there's a great feeling and an almost meditative state you can go into when you just hit the road. There's not a lot of traffic. You get on these back roads and you drive and you listen to music and you just kind of zone out. Not completely zone out where you're not obeying the laws of the road and you don't want to zone out too much. Yeah. But that's one of my thinking places when I can't go hiking, when I can't get into nature and to a nice forest. I sometimes like to get in my car, and that's where I'll think of ideas and have creative sparks. Like, ooh, I should do a Donkey Kong video on this subject next. Yeah, I love driving. I don't love traffic. I don't love gridlock. And it's not something I do often anymore. But when I have to drive somewhere and it's a trip, if I have to drive 2.5 hours, I am going to actually enjoy that because I can listen to music and I can just look at scenery. And you're not doing a whole lot, but it's relaxing and you're going to always discover something. And in fact, one thing I wish this game did have, I wish it had some version of Grand Theft Auto's radio stations. I think that would have been really fun. What does a Mushroom Kingdom, Mushroom World radio station sound like?
I'd love that. Just listening to now, would they have voiceover that you can understand, or would it just be nonsense like toad noises?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you couldn't really have much in the way of jokes if it was just the but that might be fun too.
Yeah, that's I would at least listen to it even if I don't get their jokes.
Or you could even have specific character mixtapes that they brought along, like DK Sweet road trip mix, and it's like maybe like you can always turn it off and you'll have the ambient soundtrack, the actual like game music, but you can also like specify like if you want to hear like some Wario music and just Wario music, or Bowser related music, or Donkey Kong related music, like stuff like that would have been a nice touch in this game.
Yeah, because I really love the soundtrack to this game. We'll get into it, but
yeah,
I feel like, you know, there are times where I want to listen to a specific song, and another thing I'd like them to add is some sort of indicator of what song is playing, because like I know most of these Mario songs, but I don't remember every single last one. I'd like if it said like, oh, this track is this song from Yoshi's Island, and then I can be like, oh, cool. I don't remember that one. I mean, I remember every song from Yoshi's Island. This is maybe a bad example, but if it was a song I didn't know, I could look up the original, listen to it, and then I'd be able to appreciate the new awesome remix a little more.
Yeah. I think
you know, that's a nitpick.
Yeah. I think that for me, like, I sort of enjoy having the nostalgic center of my brain tickled a little bit. I'm like, oh, yeah, what is that from? And then I'm driving around, I'm trying to figure out. I mean, it's just like what I do when I'm driving. I have thoughts. I get lost in my brain, and that's fun. Andre's giving me shit in the chat. That's fun. Some of Mario Kart World spaces are meant to be empty by design, but that's not boring. When the astronauts went to the moon, there was nothing there. They certainly weren't bored, says Hyle Russell, unironically. All right. Chocolate Milk Drinker says Kongversation, but it's narrated by toads. Yes! Like, what if we could hear podcast in the Mushroom World? What would... like, what would these manosphere influencers sound like? Like, all Bowser-centric, I'm sure.
Yeah, they talk about today's sponsor. They talk about donating to the Toad Patreon.
The P Treon. It's like a P switch, but it's...
Oh, that's funny. That's good stuff.
Yeah. No, look, when I'm playing this game, and it's amazing because usually it'd be like, I'm going to complete Grand Prix. I'm going to get all the cups in all the engine classes in Grand Prix, and then mirror mode. You know, that's how you beat a Mario Kart. That's how you do it. But what I'm finding to be really fun, and I've never played a Mario Kart like this before, where it's fun, even single player, just hopping in versus mode and concocting your own route. And
yeah,
I always choose connected when I'm doing versus mode, because for me, the joy of this game is not just the isolated tracks, which there's a lot of great tracks, and we're going to get into those, but the connecting aspect of them, the bleed through from track to track, that's what makes this world so fascinating to me. And
it's awesome.
This is exactly what I was going on about when I was talking about Mario Kart 64 and how much I would enjoy going off the track and driving around Peach's castle, and how pissed off I was that later Mario Karts wouldn't let me do that, and how Lakitu was just so much of a scold coming down and saying, you can't drive this far.
You can't have fun.
Yeah, no, you got to stick to the task, and the task is racing. It's Mario Kart, not Mario farting around the countryside.
Think before you say stuff like that.
I am just so in love. Like, every night in bed, this is what I do in bed, everybody. I have my Switch 2. And I have not been getting much sleep because I will play this game for hours. I will until my Switch 2 battery decides to flash the warning low battery light on me. And I'm like, have I really been draining the battery this long? But I will just come up with routes, and I'll do maybe a 4 race or an 8 race or a 12 course race. I think I did 16 the other night. I haven't gone full 32 yet, but it's just fun seeing how I can carve out a path across this huge island or continent. I'm not sure what it's actually supposed to be, but yeah, I'm particularly fond. One of my favorite courses or routes among the courses, and I don't know why I've gravitated to this, maybe because DK Pass, but I love starting in the snowy mountain on the east coast and just driving all around the snowy mountain down to Sky High Sunday, and then hitting Wario Shipyard and going out to sea and down to the beachy tropical areas, and then maybe I'll even wind up to Faraway Oasis because of course I love that one. But just I'm loving studying all the details between the tracks, not even in free roam, just racing. It's so much fun for me. This is tickling. This is gratifying all the areas of my brain that a Mario Kart has barely ever touched. Am I getting too intense about this?
No. I totally agree. I love the connecting routes between courses. That's maybe my favorite thing about this new game. Although I do really like that you also have the option to also do just standard 3-lap races if you really want to as well. Mm-hmm. The first day I got it, I was doing those more just to get used to the tracks, get a good feel of them. But I just love that you're going from one course to the next one. I love planning routes. One thing I did in free roam is so this is when I was trying to get all of the costumes. Mm-hmm. I was trying to get some of the Mario ones. So I wanted to get to Wario Shipyard, but I was all the way on the other side of the map. I was all the way on the west coast, and just for the fun of it, I decided to do a cross-country road trip instead of, because you can just pull up the map and warp if you want to. If you don't want to drive, you can just warp to any track on the map, and that's all well and good if you're in a hurry. But I thought, you know what? Part of the fun is driving across this whole world. I had a great time. Like you said, just zoning out, just doing a drive. It's great. It's a fun feeling.
It is. It's going on a road trip with Donkey Kong. As somebody who has gone cross country across the continental United States from Virginia to Los Angeles, California, and back again, I wish I had Donkey Kong in the car with me.
Yeah. Man, and I just adore this new look for Donkey Kong. I was already fully on board with it, but seeing it in action, just seeing how expressive he is, and not just in the face, but his body actions, he's just so fun in this.
He is. We'll talk about it because I want to really share how I've been feeling about Donkey Kong's new design now that we're really getting a chance to cohabitate with it, and it's not just this nebulous thing that we're seeing on merchandise and in screenshots and stuff. Like we're actually like in this era now, so I want to really build up to my thoughts for that because I'm not done talking about this fucking game world, Dustin. My God,
It's very good.
it's so good. In the live stream, Chocolate Milk Drinker says, I did a road trip from DK Spaceport to DK Pass. Yeah, I've done the DK cross Donkey Kong Country, tour. I would do that, like a couple times because of course I would do that. That would be one of the first things I would try to do.
Right. This game has really made me like DK Pass a lot more than I used to. Because before it just felt like a generic snow level with Donkey Kong, his name in it. But in this game, I like all of the signage with the DK design on it. That's charming and fun. But I also love driving on this track at different times of day. Like at sunset into the night. It really changes how I feel about this course.
Yeah, I really do.
And
like
the great music.
I really do like DK Pass and its whole relationship with the Snowy Mountain now. And that's like one really cool aspect is the bleed over beyond just the actual race course itself, seeing how the environment of that track extends outward.
Yeah.
Like DK Pass, the actual resort, doesn't just contain the racetrack. It's actually like the slopes where the Shy Guys are skiing or snowboarding. That goes far beyond the actual course that you would race the standard 3-lap race on. And
it recontextualizes it.
Like
in a way that really works.
So much of this joy that I'm processing, like Freezer was talking about how nobody likes the interconnected areas. And that's my favorite thing, quite honestly.
I love them.
And maybe that's also because it makes everything not overstay its welcome. And maybe this is because of how Mario Kart Tour broke my brain, because Mario Kart Tour is structured where you only have 2 laps on most races. And so then going back into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and you have standard 3-lap races, and I'm just like, ugh, are we done yet? And
yeah, instead of doing just a normal 3-lap race, you have the connecting course to get there, and then you have like 1 lap on the track itself.
Yeah.
It's a great way of keeping it fresh.
It honestly is, for how my attention span is apparently wrecked now, thanks to being on the internet for over 25 years and also having a mobile device in my pants for a decade that can access the internet readily. Like this is great for me. And I do wish one small gripe, and we will have some small gripes on this. This isn't just a gush fest. We will have criticisms where applicable, but I do wish there was more of a gradual shift between different ecosystems. There is a shift for sure, but in some areas it just feels very perfunctory, very blunt. Like you're driving and then all of a sudden, oh, bam, I'm kind of in a new area now. And you sometimes do see this on road trips. Like my aforementioned Virginia to California cross-country drive. When I was driving through Arizona, I was in the desert. I was in just this arid wasteland, and there were just nothing as far as the eye could see. And then all of a sudden I was noticing snowmobiles in people's yards, if you will. And I was like, why do they have snowmobiles? What the hell is happening? And then I swear 5 minutes later, I was all of a sudden, bam, in the mountains in a lush pine forest. And I was like, what? So it does happen. And so much of this game is inspired by the stereotypical like American road trip. Like so much of the western part of the map is just the American Southwest, right?
Right.
It's not.
It's great.
It's not all
I
that.
love those.
Like there's a track that's kind of inspired by Venice. So I mean, you get a little bit of inspiration from around the world. But yeah, like I do wish that some of the shifts were a little bit more gradual, but that would probably mean that the map would have to be even larger. And this is kind of a, technical marvel on the Switch 2 as is. So maybe that's just me expecting a little bit too much out of my Mario Kart World experience.
Yeah, I guess when you have a world that like it's a big overworld, but it's not like endlessly huge. So I get that you're going to have some limitations. You're not going to be, sometimes you do just have to have that just immediate like, okay, well, we don't really have the room to make this like a super smooth transition, but it'll be smooth enough.
Yeah, and I do appreciate the areas where you do see like that little interconnectivity. Like for example, coming from Boo Cinema, Skips in the live stream was talking about Boo Cinema. We're gonna bring up some of the tracks a little bit, but Boo Cinema, when you're driving away from like the Boolands, the Boolands, and you're starting to get into the Snowy Mountain that I love, and you've got this like little area where the creepy, haggard-looking grass starts to get a little frosted, and the boos or whatever ghosts you see give way to a moose, and you're just like, whoa,
why are there moose here now?
Yeah, whoa, I'm not so spooked anymore. Now I'm just
get out of here, moose! Don't you see all the ghosts around?
It really reminds me of late October when they're putting the Christmas shit out, and you're like, no, I'm still in Halloween mode. Get this Christmas shit out of here.
I'm still in the mood to be scared, you fools.
Yeah, so like that whole area is kind of like me from late October to mid-November, where I'm just like, but Halloween. I love it.
Yeah, oh, for sure. You bringing that up reminds me, like, a similar game that I get a similar feeling from is, have you ever heard of the game Brutal Legend?
Yeah.
Love that game. That's another game where I just love driving around on its overworld, and it's kind of similar. You just drive between different biomes, see different weathers and settings. I get that same feeling from Mario Kart World. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, it's one of the times where I am actually enamored with a setting that's just completely unambiguously in Mario's world. Yeah. And that's one thing I liked about Mario Kart 8 is it took Mario's world and it had that sheen of realism. It got away from the plasticky, pastel, cartoony style of your Double Dashes or your Mario Kart Wiis, and it really made you feel like this could plausibly be a place that existed. Just, Mario. And
For sure.
This then like raises the bar even further by having it all exist on the same massive island and making it feel like it's a real place where people are living and commuting and vacationing, and it's great. It's so fantastic.
For sure. It doesn't feel like you're just in like an abstract racing course that could be anywhere or anything, which has its appeal too, but I do like that it feels like more of a real location.
As a Rare fan, this feels very much like taking Rare sensibilities and applying it to Mario Kart at long last.
For sure. I love it.
Let's talk about some of the tracks, though. And I'm sure we'll also keep coming back to the connected world and all the little areas betwixt. But let's talk about some of the courses, some of the ones we like. Actually, I like most of them, honestly.
I do too.
There's only a couple where I'm just like, meh. The dandelion, what was it? Dandelion.
Oh shit! I know the level you mean, but I haven't gotten the names all down.
The
yet.
construction site that takes you underground into this weird dandelion cave. Yeah. That one's just kind of there for me. Toad Factory is just kind of there for me. But generally speaking,
I think it's kind of cool seeing Toad's Factory since it's been a while. I don't think that's one that they've brought back that often.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just those two. Just I don't know. They don't really excite me.
Dandelion Depths is the name.
Dandelion Depths. Yeah. But this is probably the Mario Kart that like hits the highest percentage of just complete home runs for me as far as the tracks go. Even tracks that like visually, conceptually, they don't excite me much. I'm still enjoying. Like Peach Beach never did much for me in Double Dash, but I like Peach Beach here.
It's interesting what they do with Peach Beach this time around.
Yeah, and they do kind of bring that element of recontextualizing a lot of these classic tracks, giving you a new idea of them, and that might create some issues with continuity, such as it is in Mario Kart, which we'll get into in a little bit. But first of all, we've got to talk about our boy's home tracks. His two home tracks in this. DK Spaceport is the new one, and it's the one that is there early on in the Mushroom Cup. I mean, it's if you're just playing sequentially in Grand Prix, this will be the fourth track you encounter in the game. And hell yeah, this track rules. I love it.
It's really good. It's definitely one of my favorites.
I brought this up when I was talking about this pre-release with Cameron, but it feels like they've really just hit upon such a brilliant way to do a Donkey Kong arcade style track without having it just be, you're on the girders, you're in the construction site, but it looks like it's from an arcade game in 1981.
And to be fair, I wouldn't hate that just because we've never gotten that before, but I do think this is the right way to do it.
Yeah, this is something new. It calls back to Donkey Kong's history, but it makes it feel like history, while it also propels Donkey Kong lore. Yes, Donkey Kong lore forward in such an exciting way.
And it has a big mechanical ape.
It does. Guard Kong is the name of this robotic Kong. It's on the signs. If you stop, God bless photo mode, Dustin.
Every game should just have a photo mode.
Donkey Kong Bonanza will. Yeah.
Woo!
But I just love, if I see something interesting, I'm like, stop. What is that? And I go into photo mode and I get all the angles of it I can. And I have my curiosity satisfied, and then I'm like, cool, let's go, let's move on. But this is just like I was like, wait, what do these signs in DK Spaceport say? I've got to document all of this. And yeah, even Mario Wiki doesn't call him guard, or doesn't call them or it or whatever pronouns a robotic Kong uses, doesn't call it Guard Kong yet. And I'm just like, Mario Wiki, what the fuck, man? It's right there.
Get on it.
Get on it. All right. This
Mario Wiki usually awesome though.
Usually we love Mario Wiki here. We're big
sure.
fans of the Mario Wiki. The best Donkey Kong Wiki is Mario Wiki. Hate to say it.
Yeah,
but it's true. Yeah, this actually, I did a Blue Sky post about this, and you know what? Maybe I'm working on a video about this too.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
I've got to get it done before Donkey Kong Bonanza. I don't know if that's going to happen, but this actually fits very snugly with pre-established things in the Donkey Kong series. DK Spaceport, this idea that Kongs have a spaceport at this point, it works really well with past things in Donkey Kong games. And I might save some of this for the video. I mean, I did a Blue Sky post about it, but I could talk about this for hours if you would let me, so please don't let me.
I'm cutting you off.
DK Boosters is the space technology company that is behind DK Spaceport. And I said maybe they got a tax grant from whatever area of the Mario Kart world is actually called. I wish it did have a name. It's my other complaint about the world is it doesn't really have
just call it Kart Country or something.
Yeah, but they apparently got some sort of tax break to build their first spaceport here. And it was probably, I mean, ulterior motive on the Kongs is like, well, if we have any rapid unscheduled disassemblies, at least it won't be dropping over DK Island. It'll be dropping over the Toads and the Charge and Shucks.
Now.
Yeah, screw those guys. But yeah, you've got this like ascending arcade style spaceport with all these references and homages and sound effects and the music. Oh, I loved when the music kicked in. When the motif really became the recognizable Donkey Kong arcade sounds, and I was like, yeah, this is
it's so good.
This is so good. And I love that it's like 8 laps or something, but it's segmented. And I usually in the past didn't care for the segmented tracks, but this all just feels so fresh and different, and each little segment is its own thing. And it's not just like, oh, here's Guard Kong again. Guard Kong
right.
Comes up like twice. He's like, and then like you might see him on the interconnected bits around DK Spaceport as well. But yeah,
right. Like I maybe it's because the whole game is basically those segmented tracks, kind of like Wario. What is it? Mount Wario in 8. How it's kind of divided up into 3 sections rather than 3 separate laps. That's kind of the whole game with these connecting routes.
Yeah. But you also have the Game & Watch homages across DK Spaceport, like the actual rocket, and also Guard Kong has a Game & Watch on his back. Like he's powered He's powered by a Game & Watch. But yeah, Guard Kong is like this next step or even a missing link in the evolution of the robotic Kongs. You had Kongbot from Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D and HD. You had the Kong robot from Donkey Kong Barrel Blast / Jet Race. And you've got Guard Kong here. And yeah, just love it. I just love it. I love the idea that on one of the signs, you get this indication that this is developed from rocket barrel technology. Like rocket barrels led to this.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. It's just like, it's one of those instances where a Donkey Kong Mario Kart track adds so much to the lore. And I mean, I think back to when DK Pass was introduced in Mario Kart DS or DK Summit in Mario Kart Wii, and you're just like, what does this have to do with Donkey Kong?
They just kind of dropped DK's name in there.
Yeah. And of course, we got some recontextualization there, and I also had my own fan theories about those tracks, but beyond just having another jungle, which wouldn't really work because it, of course, couldn't be on Donkey Kong Island in this game. This is the best way to not only have a Donkey Kong relevant track that is true to Donkey Kong and the Donkey Kong series, but also lets little sickos like me run with this idea of Donkey Kong lore and say like, oh, this actually propels Donkey Kong lore into the next stage. And just like
it's something with thought put into it, rather than just well, here's a generic snow level. I guess we can name that after Donkey Kong.
Yeah. I love this track, and I love the area around the track. Like you have to go through the guard station and get there, and you're like, ooh, I'm going into this like top secret facility or this like area that I'm not supposed to be in. But wait, I can be in it because I'm Donkey Kong. I'm controlling him right now.
I can do whatever I want.
Well, we're talking about lore real quick. I also want to talk about one of the other sponsors that pops up in this game. Natural oil. Or rather, banana natural oil.
Yeah, you'd see the signs for it kind of around.
Yeah, and it's like some of the stickers you can unlock to put on your card. So,
do you think Donkey Kong's ever tried to drink it?
Well, I'm sure he's drank banana juice, and I'm sure there's some crossover there. But
right.
So I wanted to bring this up because in the Super Mario Brothers movie, a little detail, but all the carts, of course, in that movie, the carts are built by the Kongs completely. It's Kong technology. And all the carts have this banana emblem on them, on their tanks, on their gas tanks. And so it's implied that they are powered by banana oil. And I was just like, So that's not the only fuel that you see sponsored in this game. So not all the carts are necessarily powered by banana natural oil in Mario Kart World, but some of them must be. Some of them must be. And I think back then Diddy Kong Racing, if we're looking at the full total history of Kong karting, well, the carts on Timbers Island, you collect bananas and you make those carts go faster. I don't think they were completely run on banana oil, but I think banana oil helped serve as kind of like the Fast and the Furious, like NOS, makes it go faster. So I'm wondering if in the last almost 30 years, if they've refined it enough where now vehicles can run on it entirely.
I like that headcanon, Hyle. I like it, I gotta say.
Headcanon? I'm pretty sure Nintendo's doing this deliberately. I'm pretty sure they're thinking, yeah, I know Diddy Kong Racing is mostly owned by Rare, but, we can build on that, and, we can... Yeah, no, I think I'll be vindicated completely in the future by this. I'm not crazy.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
No, I like that a lot.
Speaking of cool, let's talk about DK Pass, because, I really, really love what they've done with DK Pass. I do wish.
Yeah.
One small criticism, and I know they mostly want to keep Donkey Kong and Mario, the franchises, separate, or as separate as you can possibly keep them, and they don't want to overload Donkey Kong stuff in a Mario game, or overload Mario stuff in a Donkey Kong game. Like references, sure, but I do wish DK Pass had some actual Kongs in it, and not just Shy Guys.
Instead of, the Shy Guys.
And what have you. Small criticism. It would be cool if you could see, some of the monkeys, maybe, in Bonanza, just in DK Pass.
Yeah, totally. Or if they don't want to, throw them in before Bonanza's even out, they could have done the party monkeys.
Yeah, I laugh because I don't see them referencing the party/helper/capuchins from Jungle Beat anytime soon. But then Mario Kart World does reference some things that I never thought would actually get referenced again. So, you never know. But yeah, this feels so fresh. And I don't know if it's being able to drive around it at nighttime or all the illustrations of Donkey Kong and his winter gear. I don't know.
It helps. It helps the theming, at least.
It does. It does. Now, here's my question.
Okay.
Is this the same location as seen in past Mario Kart games? Now, part of me is leaning towards yes, because why wouldn't it be? And I only bring this up because this is the returning Donkey Kong track in this game. DK Spaceport, of course, is all new. And as I already mentioned, Double Dash established Dino Dino Jungle as being in the same area as DK Mountain, which was also in the same area as Baby Park. Now, that obviously doesn't work with this Dino Jungle in Mario Kart World, which then throws into question all the returning tracks. How many are actually the same returning tracks, and how many have been rebuilt or facsimiles, or at the very least, the racing component, the racetrack, has been kind of put in these locations, but they're not the original locations. Just something to think about, something to chew on. I don't have any answers right now. I do lean towards this Dino Jungle being sort of where they clone the dinosaurs, but it's not the Dino Jungle from Double Dash.
Right. I mean, it's just so different what they do with it.
This could be the same DK Pass for sure, or they've opened another ski/snowboard resort on this island, and the original was in the Monkey Mountains or whatever. That could still be my headcanon. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, DK Pass, fantastic now. One of my favorite tracks. Never thought I would get there. Never thought DK Pass could please me.
For sure. Same. It was just so generic before, but they really go the extra mile of making it feel like not only is it better themed to DK, but I really like driving around at the different times of day on that track. It really makes it look nice. But I especially like that new take on the music for it, too. That's one of my favorite music tracks in the game now.
Yeah, I didn't think much of it in the past, but it does kind of have that sort of European Alpy kind of vibe to it. And
yeah,
it reminds me of DKC3 a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. It's similar vibes.
Similar vibe, yeah. Chocolate Milk Drinker in a live stream, wow, loves the Party Monkeys. Says, Party Monkeys, my beloved.
They're great.
And said, I thought DK would be pro electric cars, to be honest. Well, I'm sure he is, but I also think, the Kongs do what they can with bananas, first and foremost. It's just their brand. It's just,
Right.
And also, we know in Donkey Kong Bonanza, Banandium is this big discovery. And so, maybe everything will be powered by Banandium in 5 years.
Ooh, making progress.
Freezer weighs in. I feel they're all facsimiles. Now, Koopa Troopa Beach could be the same one as the SNES or SNES, as the cool kids like to call it.
Ooh. I like how they recontextualize that one, too, making it kind of a beach party.
Oh, yeah. So when I saw it was the Koopa Troopa Beach from the Super Nintendo, Super Mario Kart, and not like the Koopa Beach from the N64, Mario Kart 64, I was like, really? You're bringing that one back? But then they recontextualize it as just this big, douchey Jersey Shore party, and I'm like, fuck yeah, this is actually kind of awesome. You have that Koopa Troopa DJ on the video screen. Kind of has the the Electrodome?
Oh yeah,
kind of has that vibe.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, Electrodome. No, that's not what it's called. But I was like, it's something dumb. But yeah, I like that. It has this just like fervent party to it on just this very small beach in this like bay, this island.
It's a great way. It's a great way to, because that level's pretty simple. Otherwise, it's a very short track, and it's just kind of a beach. This gives it that extra oomph that it needed.
Yeah. I do love Dino Jungle. I know it creates a lot of continuity conundrums, but making it just this deliberate Jurassic Park homage, oh my god, it's terrific.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about the changes, but I do still really like the level. I mean, that was one of my favorite Double Dash tracks, and I'm kind of on the fence about changing it so much, but I still really like it. And the dinosaurs there look great. I like them a lot better here than I did in Double Dash.
Well, Double Dash,
just kind of had that cutesy Mario-ish look to them.
Double Dash, you just had the 1 or the 2. Like,
Yeah.
Here you've got T-Rex just bursting out in a jump scare, and you can drive up the Triceratops, and it's great. It's great. Like, I was on the fence about this until I actually experienced it, until I actually got to taste it for myself, and it tasted pretty sweet. I was like, this is a dramatic reimagining, but it works, and it's so much fun. And also, I love, again, this is why you have to do the interconnected tracks. Freezer was talking about how nobody playing online likes to do it. Well, make your own fun. I don't care. You know what? Screw those people. They don't know how to have joy. They don't know how to squeeze the joy out of this game. No, Dustin, let me finish. Because when you're driving around Dino Jungle, but you're not on Dino Jungle, you see more dinosaurs. They're just roaming about, and you're like, oh my god, there's dinosaurs on the road.
Is no one gonna do anything about these dinosaurs?
No, because we can't contain them. Life finds a way. Jeff Goldblum. It's a whole thing. They made like 7 whole movies about it.
Well, it's weird to me that people don't like the connecting tracks or complain about needing to do them, because you have the option to just not as well. But Freezer also says the science for Dino Jungle showed that it used to be called Dino Laboratory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do think it's the genetic facility where they make the dinosaurs for the primary Dino Jungle seen in Double Dash, which in my headcanon is in Mario Party 2's Mario Land.
You know what? I have nothing to defute that. I think that's I agree.
Yeah, you know what? I've got so many good headcanons, not just for Donkey Kong, for Mario as well. You know what? Just let me control Nintendo.
Yeah, just let Hyle in charge of all. He has some great Legend of Zelda ideas.
Yeah, I think it should star a gorilla named Donkey Kong.
See, now we're on to something.
You know, have you ever just thought about putting Swanky Kong in your game?
It's that easy, Nintendo.
That
Come
easy.
on.
Come on. Brothers Bear, we know what I'm talking about. So, Faraway Oasis is another track that, you know, the track itself is fine. It's like a little safari park. We love a safari park, but yeah, it is the interconnected areas around Faraway Oasis that makes Faraway Oasis probably my favorite non-Donkey Kong track or area in the entire game.
I think I agree, because the track itself is good, but it's, you know, it's not like a mind-blowing, crazy new track or anything. But the context, its place in the world and the areas surrounding it really makes it shine.
Of course I'm going to like this, you know?
Yeah.
Mr. DK Vine, Mr. I love real animals, I love real wildlife. I fell in love with Donkey Kong Country because it was a celebration of the wilderness and environment of our reality. So, of course, I'm going to love the track that has giraffes, elephants, ostriches, buffalo, crocodile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna like it.
It's a great level. I like the ostriches.
Yeah, so interesting. Interesting thing about the ostriches. You know what I'm going to say about the ostriches, Dustin? You know
what are you going to
say,
Hyle? Spit that nasty stuff about the ostriches.
You know, I've studied all of these animals extensively. Front and back, top to bottom. Photo mode. I was such a voyeur when it came to every single animal around Faraway Oasis. And I realized, as have other people, all of the animals, these real animals, they have the beady little eyes. You know, just the little black dots.
Right.
On their skull holes. The ostriches, on the other hand, they have the big, wide, cartoony, espresso style eyes.
Ooh.
they're not a 1-to-1 match to Espresso, but they look so visually similar. And I'm like, why? Oh, why did they have the ostriches look like Donkey Kong characters while all the other animals look like their own thing? And I don't know. I'm not saying this is like necessarily a call forward to Donkey Kong Bonanza, because we know there are ostriches in Donkey Kong Bonanza. We don't know if Espresso will be in Donkey Kong Bonanza, but we know there's the whole layer in the underground world that's populated by ostriches. So
Right.
I don't know if there's any similarity there, or if it was like cross team the contamination. I don't know.
I wonder. It's kind of hard to say. I like, just where I'm at right now, I don't think they look the same as the ones in Bonanza, but we've barely seen the ones in Bonanza.
We have, but they're not completely the same. But yeah, I don't know. Skip says maybe all the animals within the faraway oasis all have layers within Bonanza. So far, we have giraffe, zebra, and ostrich layers. Well, that's interesting, because there's also crocodiles, Skips. There are crocodiles when you come out of... It's a particular route coming out of Faraway Oasis, but you cross a river, and there are sometimes crocodiles lounging by the river. And they don't, sad to say, look much like Kremlings. Besides being crocodiles, you know, they've got very, very beady eyes again, and they have kind of like blunt little stubby teeth, little sad teeth. They look like they're just done with it. They look just utterly exhausted, but they're all crocodiles. Also,
yeah, they're not Kremlings, but I do like them a lot.
It was around Faraway Oasis that I realized the great vibration effects of Mario Kart World, because you will occasionally...
HD Rumble?
Yeah, you will occasionally get a stampede on the track of ostriches or zebras or whatever, and you will feel the vibration of the stampede, and I'm just like, whoa! Oh my god. And you know what? I did shed a little bit of a tear. Not literally, you know, metaphorically, spiritually. Some wetness emanated from my soul, because I was thinking, as many of us were, of Donkey Kong Racing and what we lost once upon a time.
What could have been.
Yeah, it doesn't help that Donkey Kong's all-terrain helmet, if you unlock that outfit for Donkey Kong, does say DK Racing on the back of the helmet. Like, that's his racing team. And, you know, it's like, oh, yeah.
I wonder if it was like a purposeful callback. It feels like something that wouldn't be, but it also seems like pretty specific.
If this was any other era of Nintendo, I would be like, of course that's not a deliberate reference, but they are getting deep. In this era of Nintendo, like, it's clear that there are fans of this stuff making the games, and we know that's true with Donkey Kong. I mean, my god, the Northern Hemisphere and Donkey Kong Bonanza, what the actual fuck? So I wouldn't dismiss it entirely, but also DK Racing is just such a generic term, like, stripped of that context, that but I do like the idea that, you know, the Kongs race so much that they do have their own racing team now.
Yeah, same. I like that even in the movie too, just having racing be so tied to the Kongs.
Yeah. Boo Cinema, that was an early favorite. Cameron and I talked about Boo Cinema on our pre-released episode for Mario Kart World. I still really like it. I feel like it was completely spoiled for me. It would have been one of these things that I would have probably liked to have seen and experienced first playing the game, and it would have just blown me away. Knowing what was coming, knowing, you know, you jump into the screen, it's like, yeah, this is cool. But, you know, I knew about it, so
It's such a cool concept. I think conceptually it's probably the best new track. I just wish it was maybe a little longer. It's a little on the short side.
It is, yeah. And I do wish the film reel inside the movie would change.
Yeah, I agree. What's there is great, but maybe a little more variety could have been cool.
Yeah, I do like seeing like the movie posters, like studying, like all the detail in this game is just magnificent.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Oh, Freezer says Boo Cinema is one of the most disliked levels I've seen from YouTubers.
Freezer, can I have a chat with you? Because I've seen a lot of comments you make about how much negativity you're absorbing from YouTubers and social media. And I think we need to have an intervention. Because I'm worried you're hate watching things that bring you down. And here's what I do. I just don't. I ignore it.
I just don't.
I make my own bubble. I make my own world. I call it DK Vine, and I invite my friends in, and we talk about things we like. and we don't dwell on the negativity. And so, you know what? Maybe take a break from YouTube.
I won't lie. Sometimes it's fun to hate watch things, but you know, you don't want it to be overwhelmingly what you consume. I think.
You know, make your own
not
reality.
Not that I think Freezer overwhelmingly hate watches things or anything.
I don't know. I'm worried about you, Freezer. I'm worried it's going to eventually come crashing down for you because you watched one too many dumb takes on the internet.
I think as long as you just don't let it affect your own opinion, it's fine.
Yeah, I agree, but it's kind of hard also when you're absorbing it all because you do feel like you're like the last sane person screaming in a torrent of madness. And
I am the smart one.
Especially in this day and age. We'll get into it a little bit. Some of the opinions I've seen about this game are kind of funny. But
a little funny.
Desert Hills is a new track I really like.
I think I need to play Desert Hills again. I feel like that's one of the ones I've played the least, so I haven't really formed an opinion on it yet.
And again, I think this is a faraway Oasis situation where the track itself is but the area that makes up the Desert Hills region, when you go off the course and you go into the connecting areas, I'm
seeing people in the chat saying Desert Hills is the DS track.
Yeah, but this one has the Super Mario Land enemies.
Yeah, I do like that.
The Easter Island Moai heads that are bad guys for some reason.
Yeah, I like Super Mario Land. I'm totally down for any callbacks to it. That's a game that doesn't really get acknowledged very often.
Because it was developed outside of the core, at that time, EAD, Mario teams.
Yeah.
And so it always just felt like this weird, almost like cover band tribute to Mario. And it had its own baddies that were kind of like off-brand Temu Koopa Troopas and you know, Goombas. And, you know, it had Tatanga, the space extraterrestrial warlord in it. And it introduced Daisy, and of course Daisy would eventually become a mainstay, but yeah, so much of it very rarely got referenced. And here we have Batadons and Choco Tocos. And yes, I had to look those up because I did not know what they were called. They were just the Moai heads from Super Mario Land to me. But
yeah, I didn't know the names of them.
The fact that we're seeing so much re-embraced from areas of Mario history that were generally ignored. It gives me hope as a Super Mario Bros. 2 fan that Wart and Mouser and Fry Guy and you know, all our favorites, Claw Grip, will come back one day. Beyond just Birdo.
I'm surprised they haven't yet. You know, some things have, like Birdo, Shy Guys, but yeah. I'm surprised a lot of those guys are still kind of just tied to that.
And of course, now that EPD is doing Donkey Kong, it gives me hope for, well, everything we haven't seen in so long. And yeah, it's just like I knew these guys were in it before release, but just seeing them playing the game, it just instantly made the recontextualized Desert Hills like so much more of a thrilling experience for me, because it was just like, yeah, they're referencing Super Mario Land. Deal with it.
It's so cool. I love it.
And then you go off Desert Hills, and you've got the like just complete like sandstorm wasteland with the like serpent coming out of the sand. It's great.
Yeah, that's cool. I really like I don't really... Is it Whistle Stop Station?
Whistle Stop Summit?
Summit. That level, the first time I played it, I was like, this is cool. I like this a lot.
Dustin, are you a train kid? Are you a kid that loved trains?
No, I've never really cared about trains that much, which is weird because I like this level, and I also really like the bike in this game that's like a train. It's like train-esque.
And yet they couldn't put the barrel train in it.
I see where their priorities are.
I've never felt more unloved. Yeah, like, generally speaking, I think I gravitate more towards the tropical or beachy or jungly or safari or snowy tracks. So basically, everything
more naturey.
Yeah, well, everything from DK Spaceport on east, minus Dandelion Depths, because for whatever reason, it just doesn't do anything for me. But yeah, like I like those tracks, and the ones on the west coast in the desert and going up into like Bowser's Darklands or whatever. Oh, I love that they put the candles from Super Mario Brothers 3 map screen.
Yeah.
Like lining the road going into the like Bowser Badlands or whatever. Like,
that's awesome.
That's great. Like just the detail and the tributes to Mario and Donkey Kong's past. Oh, God.
It's really good. I got a lot of vibes from the movie as well in this, and the Dry Bones level when they pop out of the ground.
So Freezer is like saying defending Dandelion Depths in the chat. Well, we don't all have to agree on everything. Okay? It's just the track doesn't do much for me. It's just a construction site and you go into the ground. You know who else goes into the ground? Wrinkly Kong. She died.
That's true. She made it cool.
All right. Rainbow Road. Of course, you have to unlock it. You have to unlock the special cup. And then people are like, how are you going to do Rainbow Road in this interconnected world? You're not going to have a Rainbow Road. Not much of a Mario Kart then, huh? And it's like, no, there's going to be a Rainbow Road. And, you know, my theory before release was we saw like the rainbow fragment in the western part. Like, I think outside of Crown City, you have like that monument where like a shard of Rainbow Road had crashed, and you're like, oh, that's how they're going to do Rainbow Road. It's going to be like this like earthbound desert anomaly or something. No, there's a portal that opens up to Rainbow Road, and you can like if you're going from the connected route, you can access it from Peach Stadium. You go out to sea, and it's like north of Koopa Troopa Beach, and you get blasted off into the sky. And Rainbow Road is an experience in this game. It is long. It is broken up into varied segments. And I've heard some people say this Rainbow Road is boring.
That's interesting, because I've only ever seen people like really singing its praises. Like I've seen tons of people saying like, this is the best Rainbow Road. I'm so glad this wasn't spoiled for me.
Yeah, this is my favorite Rainbow Road since Mario Kart 64's Rainbow Road.
Wow.
And you know how much I love Mario Kart 64's Rainbow Road. Like even up through Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I still held the Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 64, but the actual Rainbow Road in Mario Kart 64, not when they brought it back into Mario Kart 8 and they kind of ruined it.
Right.
I mean, the original depiction of it with the neon heads, and you had, it was just long, and you couldn't fall off the side, except for that one little bit if you're trying to do that very, very cheap jump. But that was my favorite Rainbow.
It was less being like a challenging track and more just letting you just have a nice little time, a nice easy time.
It was a long, leisurely victory lap at the end
Yeah.
of the game. And it also really felt kind of ethereal. Like, it felt like it was spacey, but it wasn't like just sci-fi, like, oh yeah, we're on the fucking moon, or oh yeah, we're, a bunch of toads have gone into space and this is their satellite. It felt like we're in this almost spiritual place, this higher plane of existence that we aspire to be. And it had a neon Donkey Kong head, which is my depiction of heaven.
That's all you need.
Of course, it inspired us a great deal because on our forum, we have the neon heads of like various DKU characters, and that was inspired by the neon heads on the N64 Rainbow Road. So when I say this is my favorite Rainbow Road since that one, I am not speaking out of turn. I am not just spouting off and having recency bias. Like, I put a lot of thought into my Rainbow Roads, Dustin, and I've decided this one is like a nostalgia weighs heavy on the soul. And that Rainbow Road will always have that nostalgic feeling, that majestic sense of, oh my God, this is amazing. Where this is brand new. I've only had it for a little over a week. But so far, what I really like about it is it scratches all the possible Rainbow Road itches you might have.
Yeah, I feel like I need to play it again. I've only played through it once so far, and it was a few days ago, so it's not really fresh in my mind, but I remember liking it. I like that you see like a lot of the characters on the train driving by.
Yeah. There was so much about it that it felt like it was tying up everything in a nice bow, as much as you can do in a game like this. But what really wowed me, because I was a fan of the way it looked in the first, like, 2 laps or whatever. I forget the actual amount, but it was when you hit the segment where you're all of a sudden in this, like, very otherworldly river, and you've got the trees and kind of like Rainbow Road countryside. And you're like, whoa! It was the first time I went, whoa!
Look at that!
Yeah, at a Rainbow Road since Mario Kart 64. And I was like impressed. And I was just like, this is special. This is the way I wanted a Rainbow Road to make me feel since 1997. So that's great. I love that you have, like I said, the more ethereal aspect of Rainbow Road. And then you go to the space station that DK Boosters launched.
Yeah. I like that. I like the DK Boosters.
Such a great touch, and it calls back to earlier in the game. And then, you've got the train, and we've already seen like the flying space train of Rainbow Road. That's how they partially ruined the Rainbow Road from the N64 in Mario Kart 8. They brought that train in. I'm like, what is this? The goddamn Polar Express? Shut up. But here I was just like, hey, it's a train, because, there is a train that runs throughout the world of Mario Kart World.
Right.
And you will see it in your races, in your travels. But here we have the space equivalent of it. And, yes, it's full of characters from down below. You've got Guard Kong. Maybe it's a secondary Guard Kong that like was on the space station and then hitched a ride on the train. But you've got one of the T-Rexes. It's
the gang's
fun.
all here.
Yeah,
Everyone is here.
It's like Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Just Andre says, not gonna lie, my first thought upon reaching the river section was of Galleon Galaxy. Speaking of,
I felt that too.
A little bit, and maybe that's why it struck a chord with me as well. The rare / platonic center of my brain appreciated it. Just Andre also says this new Rainbow Road kind of captures the jubilant celebratory tone of the N64 Rainbow Road more than its Mario Kart 8 remake. Completely agree. Freezer says this is my second favorite Rainbow Road. 7 is still my favorite. Freezer likes to be on the moon.
Oh man, I don't really remember 7s that much.
It's the one on the moon.
Oh yeah, the one on the moon.
The one on the moon, which we're used to the moon here at DK Vine, but more in a punched sense. Skips says the Rainbow Road in Mario Kart 8 could have been called like Toad Station, like it felt less organic. Yeah, I think that's what I really like about a Rainbow Road too, is I like that it feels like it is this elemental thing that happens that can't quite be explained. And you kind of see that in the credits of this game. Spoilers, but there's like this newspaper headline, like Rainbow Road reappears after so many years. And it feels like it's this celestial event that's not quite understood, but people are trying to understand. I mean, we saw a little bit of that suggested in Mario Kart 8, yet the Rainbow Exploratory Agency or whatever. It's like their version of NASA until the private sector, DK Boosters, moved in. But yeah, like I like that Rainbow Road is kind of like what Star Road was in earlier Mario games. It's just this.
It's like a mysterious thing to these people.
I like when there's.
It's not just a racetrack.
As much as I love the core of Mario's world, like kind of being brought down to reality a little bit, like everything being tangible and connected and plausible. I do like that element of magic to it as well. I mean, that's what makes Mario special. And I like that the magic has to be like reached. It's not just accessible from the start. You have to like work to get to it. And it's at the very end of the game and it feels glorious.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Hyle. It makes it feel all the more special.
Gigastrike says, I made up that ukulele are planned for DLC. Sure.
It's gotta happen.
Yeah. Freezer says, Geek Critique is ignoring this episode, but is hosting an online lobby.
What are we doing talking on this podcast? We could be playing.
Mario Kart World is so much fun to play as single player, though. Sometimes you don't want anybody intruding upon your road trip.
That's true. That's another good thing about this game. I like that. So Mario Karts before, usually I'll like go through all the GPs and that's all well and good. But then after that, it's pretty strictly a multiplayer game. Mm-hmm. I like that this has the free roam single player. It just more options.
Like, honestly, I was supposed to play multiplayer before we did this episode. I was supposed to do some online sessions with people in the DK Vine community. And my brain just couldn't make time for it this week. Lots been happening this week in the world, in the US, and it was just like, I just want to go under the covers for a bit. And didn't have time for it. But, I don't feel like I necessarily needed it because the single player experience in Mario Kart World is so robust and so rewarding that it's like, yeah, whatever. We'll be talking about this game for years. All right. I'll have time to come up with opinions on that aspect of it later on. For my first impressions, I really just want to talk about what's speaking to me. And that's like how just titillated I am by the game all by my lonesome.
For sure. It's nice. I mean, we already talked about how great it is to just kind of zone out with this game, but it is really nice. Like pretty much every night, before I go to bed, I'll just lie in bed and drive around a little bit. It's just a nice chill feeling.
Definitely. And past Mario Kart games, a lot of the vibe going into it, from my perspective, was how many characters are in it that I want to play as. Because you know me, Dustin. I
know you.
You do know me, and a lot of people listening to this feel like they know me. But one aspect that I think befuddles some people out there is that I only play as the Kongs in these games. I will not play as anybody else. Now, if Ukulele got in as DLC, sure. But generally speaking, in a Mario Kart, I've only played as Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, Dixie Kong, or maybe the me of myself in the Donkey Kong costume.
Pretending to be a Kong.
Also, Donkey Kong Jr., parentheses, SNES in Mario Kart Tour. Yeah.
Right.
So, when you have a Mario Kart game that only has playable Donkey Kong in it, and I remember they did the preview on January 16th, I was like, oh no, I don't see Diddy anywhere. I don't see Diddy near the crosshairs. Like, once we got past the, I want to talk about Donkey Country Returns HD, and you're talking about the Switch 2 Nintendo, and then once we got past the, oh no, Donkey Kong's movie design is in the Mario Kart game, and once we got past all that, I was like, I don't see Diddy. And I was like, well, maybe Diddy will be in it, and we just haven't seen him yet. And then once they did the Switch 2 Direct on April 2nd, and we didn't see Diddy there, and I was like, Diddy's probably not in it, is he? And then it was like,
did he not get the invite?
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but pretty sure it's going to be DLC. But it was like, okay, I will only have Donkey Kong in this game. And then what did they do? They up and made Donkey Kong unlockable. He's not there from the start.
They're playing dirty.
Yeah, they put a couple of the major mainstay characters behind this unlockable wall, and they're very easy to unlock. It's not hard at all. The funny thing, though, is nobody could quite agree for the first couple days exactly how you unlock Donkey Kong. And it's the Mushroom Cup. You beat the Mushroom Cup once, you unlock Donkey Kong.
Yeah, it's that easy. The first cup.
But so many people were like, no, it doesn't matter what cup you play. Donkey Kong's just the first character you unlock. I'm like, I don't think that's right, because you unlock him and you've got the picture of DK Spaceport behind him. Pretty sure that's because he's unlocked by beating the Mushroom Cup.
Right,
and I verified this since then. It is the Mushroom Cup. But yeah, it meant I had to play as somebody else for 4 whole races, Dustin.
That I can't imagine the torture you must have been feeling.
I do like a little bit of torture, a little bit of pain. As I've divulged on the Kongversation, I guess I have a fetish, a little bit of a, shackles and whip and, but
pain equals pleasure.
Yeah. I don't like too much of it, but, bend my body the wrong way just a little bit, please.
Yeah, car battery hooked up to the nipples, just, simple stuff like that.
Yeah, run on natural banana oil.
Yeah.
So it meant I had to play as Pauline. That was my best option. That was my best shot, playing as Pauline.
That's what I did, too.
I know some people are upset with me because they wanted me to play as Cal. But it was like, Pauline is the closest thing to a Donkey Kong character that I have made available to me. In the past, I would, choose Wario. What was it? Mario Golf. I had to go through this string of characters until I unlocked Donkey Kong. And so it was like Charlie, Wario, and then Donkey Kong. But with With this one, it was just Pauline for 4 races. Bam, Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and I do like Pauline. I love that they added Pauline. She's definitely one of the... I have like a pretty small rotation of characters, and she's part of it. I'm not like Hyle. I'll play as other characters other than the Kongs, but the Kongs are who I usually gravitate towards first.
Chocolate Milk Drinker says, I played as Hammer Bro first. Well, yeah, because you're normal. You're a normal human being. You're not irreparably broken like I am, who's like so mired in this weird sense of duty to these fictional characters who, as Jeff always reminds me, aren't real.
Hyle's the kind of person who would go into a Legend of Zelda game. Let's say you play a Legend of Zelda game and you're specifically here for Wart in Link's Awakening. It's like, well, I don't care about any of this other shit. Give me that Wart guy. Yet that's why this is the best Zelda game.
Yeah, I do wonder. I don't check the Zelda wikis much, but I do wonder how many of them talk about like Wart as a Zelda crossover character. Anyway, I love Donkey Kong in this game. My God, Lord of Games, take me now, because this is probably the best depiction of Donkey Kong in any Mario Kart game that I've ever seen.
He's wonderful. He looks so good. He looks like he's having the time of his life.
Dustin, I know you and I have talked about this design quite a bit, and I know it's still controversial in some corners. Some people are just very, very in love with the Kev Bayless Donkey Kong design, with the low brow and all the various accoutrements that are associated with it. And as I've said, my favorite Donkey Kong will always be the 1994 bog standard ACM Donkey Kong. That's my guy. That will always bring the biggest smile to my face. But this Donkey Kong, actually getting to live with him and road trip with him and get drive through with him, he is still the same guy. Like, I don't see the disconnect. I don't feel it. It's clearly him. He's just... He's finally able to... And I don't agree with the idea that you couldn't be expressive with the old design. That's not true. But this Donkey Kong design can finally be expressive in the ways that Nintendo has wanted him to be since 2002, 2003. And their ham-fisted attempts at making him expressive made him this ugly beast instead.
Yeah. Boy, I really can't get over how bad he looks in 8. What a huge upgrade this is.
This is such a great upgrade. And the thing is, he's not even doing the toothy grin all the time either. He's got just this wide array of emotion and feeling and expressions. And he's happy, he's scared, he's confused, he's like... it's great. He's great.
Yeah, I just love taking screenshots of this guy. I love that photo mode lets you change the expressions too.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And like every character looks great in this game. I think it's the best a lot of these characters have ever looked. But I think just based on DK's design, you really get a lot more out of those expression changes in that photo mode. Some characters like Princess Peach look great, but they don't really, they don't want to deviate from her normal look all that much. But DK, like, his expressions for being angry is so funny. His big grin when he's excited. DK really can have a lot of variety in expressions.
Yeah. And he also, like, there are moments where he has the brow lowered. He looks like the Kev Bayless design, just maybe with slightly fatter cheeks.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
He's put on a few, okay? He's getting older. His metabolism has slowed down.
Yeah, who hasn't in this day and age?
He doesn't train for the Olympics anymore. Go easy on him, all right?
Yeah, he's earned it. He's able to partake in those bananas, that banana horde now.
So, I wish Donkey Kong had more costumes. He's only got one alternate outfit in this game. And look, all-terrain Donkey Kong, that is my go-to now. I love, love, love having him in his all-terrain gear. I think he looks great. I think he almost looks naked without it in this game now. And I just wish there was more. Like, for example, like, why isn't his ski gear on the signs from DK Pass? Why isn't that an alternate outfit?
Yeah, you'd think that would be perfect. You already have a design for it.
Or astronaut Donkey Kong, since he's got the Spaceport, or the Kongs have the Spaceport. I don't think Donkey Kong runs DK Spaceport or DK Boosters, but you know.
Yeah, like, even if you don't want to do like a whole ton for Donkey Kong, like, you could have gotten a couple more in there. I think he and Pauline do have like the least amount of costumes.
Yeah, and guess the only two costumes I've unlocked in Mario Kart World, Pauline's and Donkey Kong's, because so far they're the only two characters I've played as.
Someone you've gotten all the costumes that are relevant, I guess.
Someone asked me on social media, how are you going to 100% this if you won't play as anybody but Donkey Kong? And I said, I don't know yet. I'm just having too much fun playing as Donkey Kong. I think what I'll eventually have to do is just jump into free roam as a character, hit up a Yoshi's, and until I unlock all the costumes. But
that's what I did. I mean, like, something that's so easy to do is you can play most of the game as Donkey Kong and then just switch to anyone else when you get to a Yoshi's.
Yeah, but part of me loves the weird satisfaction I get that I've only unlocked 2 costumes because of my rigid adherence to Donkey Kong and the DKU. Freezer's pissed at me.
That's all you need.
Freezer's pissed at me because I've unlocked all the other characters. The ones that you have to unlock through the Kamek Curse.
Yeah, and that's hard and annoying to do, so it's very surprising.
And I just got them through the interconnected regions. Like, that's usually when I get hit with a Kamek Curse, and I'm just like, oh fuck, now I'm this, what is it, coin purse dude? I don't know.
Coin coffer.
Okay, whatever. I'm doing a jerk off motion with my hands. I
don't love having all the they're called NPC racers, I guess. They've been described as. I don't really love the concept, just because there's so many like, do you need coin coffer in there? I get like, everyone's gonna be someone's favorite racer,
right, but
coin coffer,
yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm kind of zen about it because
right, I don't want to say like only the stuff I want should be here. Everything else, get the hell out.
Donkey Kong's so great in this game that it's just like the only one that bugs me, and this just bugs me for a very dumb reason.
Okay.
Conk-Door?
Conk-Door is a very weird one too.
No, this bugs me for a very stupid, petty reason. Because whenever I see the results screen, I think I see Conker. And I'm like, Conker?
You get excited.
I get so excited. I'm like, Conker's here. Conker's racing? And then I'm like, that's not Conker.
Oh, wait, it's a stupid bird.
Ow.
Never mind.
I do wish, and I don't know why the character select screen is so poorly laid out, but I do wish you have the option to sort, but it only toggles between 2 different options.
Yeah, and so one option is having a character with all of their costumes together, which is fine. And the other way is just, I don't know, I guess. It was just random whatever the fuck.
I wish it would allow you to just arrange the characters the way you want to arrange them. Similar to how on Nintendo Switch Online, you can arrange the games in your preferred order. And I'm just like, let me do that. Let me put Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong parentheses all-terrain at the front of the list, because that's all I need. That's all I'm going to use.
That's all I'm going to be playing as. Let me put them up front.
I also wish that I'm not crazy about the way you unlock the costumes with the Yoshi's Dash food. I think it's a little weird. I think it's kind of, it almost feels like tacked on. Like, how are we going to unlock these costumes? The food, I know they had the big interview on Nintendo.com where they explained some of the thought processes behind this, but I don't know. Like, for me, I made a joke.
It feels a little disconnected.
Yeah, I made a joke about it on social media. Like, is the implication that the food at Yoshi's is so volatile that they are pooping themselves? You got that big brown cloud that surrounds them. I'm like, are they pooping themselves and they have to change their clothes ASAP?
I have to put on a cool, fun costume.
And I'm like, then stop eating Yoshi's. I know it's everywhere. You don't have any more options, but pack a granola bar next time.
Yeah, you don't need to settle for fast food every 2 minutes.
And of course, there's the weirdness, you know, there's beef products and cows eating the beef products, but that causes mad cow disease.
Yeah, it's something, sometimes you just have to not think about it, I guess.
IGN did posit that it could be like vegan, like fake meat substitute.
It could be.
And they didn't deny it. So, you know, my headcanon, because it's not even headcanon, gorillas are mostly vegetarian. They will, especially the lowland gorillas, will occasionally eat bugs like termites. But generally speaking, gorillas have a vegetarian diet. So it doesn't really make much sense for Donkey Kong to tuck into a big cheeseburger.
Right.
So, you know, maybe they're not actually made of cow. Like, hey, cow, look at this. I'm eating your friend.
Ooh, does it make you mad that I said that?
Like, I don't know. It doesn't feel true to Donkey Kong, the defender of animals and wildlife and, like, whatever. He'll drink their milk. He's not like me. He's not completely vegan. He'll suck on that sweet udder syrup, but
right, the moo moo milk.
Yeah, it's the ice cream, you know. He's not lactose intolerant. Maybe he is, and he just enjoys a good hearty shit. I don't know.
Who doesn't?
Anyway, that's a bit weird. The whole, like, collect coins and unlock cards. I do like the fast clip that you unlock stuff. Like, it's a nice, steady progression. But I wasn't a fan of this in the last Mario Kart. I think Mario Kart Tour kind of showed me a better way. I wish there was kind of an in-game store. I'm not talking about DLC. I'm talking about taking your coins, banking them, and then using them to spend on things. At, like, maybe costumes or carts or other things. Like, I'm fine with some linear progression, like the stickers, whatever. But I do wish you had a little bit more freedom and there was a little bit more transparency towards what you're working towards unlocking.
Yeah.
And it just kind of a big mystery. It's like, oh, I unlocked a new cart. Okay, what is this cart? Okay. Okay.
All right.
I'm not going to use that one because that one doesn't feel Donkey Kong-y enough.
Do you have any vehicles that you like to use?
I've been using the standard cart because none of them feel Donkey Kong-y enough. There's the one banana bike, but it's called the Cute Scoot, and I'm like, excuse me?
Cute Scoot?
The Cute Scoot?
Fuck off.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this for a current baby? Well, great, but Diddy's not in it.
So which is it? I like the one that looks like a bee.
Yeah, I like some of the carts. But I'm like, I don't think Donkey Kong would use it. I'm like, what would Donkey Kong use? And I'm like, well, Donkey Kong.
Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, I miss the Mercedes in this. I wish we had some real. I mean, I don't know. It's in the dystopia we live in. They'd be Cybertrucks or something.
Ooh. Oh, the N64 throwback?
Maybe we could get like some sort of DLC that has more Donkey Kong stuff in it, like the
I'm hoping.
DK Jumbo or the Rambi Rider or the Banana
Rambi
Master.
Rider should totally be there. Banana Master.
The Banana Master was from Mario Kart Tour. Dixie looks great in it. But yeah, that's one of my criticisms. Like I'm not wild about the Dash Food doing the costumes. Like even it could be even like an alternate form of unlocking the costumes. I just wish there was a little bit more clarity and a little bit like, oh, I want to unlock this, so that's what I'm going to work towards. And maybe that's just expecting too much. I don't know.
I can definitely see. I do think just having a nice shop would be my preferred way to do it, but I kind of like just going around the world and seeing like, oh, what costume will this food unlock for me? It's kind of nice having that mystery. Like you eat, you get a food from one of the various Yoshi's diners, and it starts to transform you into a costume, and you're like, oh, is this going to be a new one? What's this one going to be? That's kind of fun too.
See, I don't have that joy because I unlocked the 2 costumes that I can't.
Yeah, you got them all.
I got them all, yeah. And now it's just like, oh, I don't want this food to change Donkey Kong. I don't want to make him naked. He's going up into the snowy mountain. He'll be cold. Chocolate Milk Drinker made me laugh in a live stream. That's I was chuckling because in all caps, Chocolate Milk Drinker said, "Mad cow disease is back. I'm so happy about this 90s throwback."
You know, they're all about the nostalgia pandering these days.
Yeah, they brought back the Super Mario Land baddies. They brought back the prion disease that afflicted the UK. Hell yeah. Just Andre says, Hyle constantly had to change into pilot and vampire costumes throughout the day before his IBS was re-diagnosed as lactose intolerance. Yeah, it's creepy that you remember my personal lore like that, but thank you.
I like the idea of Hyle switching into different costumes because of that one reason.
Freezer also points out that the costumes are sometimes themed to a region. Not if you use Pauline or Donkey Kong. They're not.
Yeah, then it's just you get the one.
You get the one. And I'm like, come on. Like, even Donkey Kong had a costume in Mario Kart Tour, the Gladiator costume. They didn't put that in the game.
Yeah, it's weird that you have lots of opportunities for costumes. Even Pauline, like you could have her like her mayor outfit from Mario Odyssey. Like she has options too.
She had options for Mario Kart Tour. She had the party time outfit. She had the like Rose opera singer outfit, and she had the cowgirl outfit.
Yeah. So it's a little disappointing, but hopefully we can get some updates in the future or DLC or something.
Yeah. Really quick, the least important part of any DK Vine discussion, gameplay.
Yawn.
I think it plays great. I think it's as sound as Mario Kart 8 was. For me personally, I think it's a little bit crisper in places. Like
crisper.
Crispin Glover. I'm going Back to the Future, but not part 2. He wasn't in that one. They made up a guy to look like him. So I love the way it's changed gliding, and I love the way it's ditched the underwater sections. Driving on water really does feel like the hovercraft races from Diddy Kong Racing, and you know I'm all about that.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Honestly, I prefer this over the driving underwater. That doesn't really add that much from before.
It doesn't really add that much because you weren't actually doing anything. It was just a purely aesthetic trick.
Yeah, this at least it feels a little different when you switch to the jet ski sort of
it's little Wave Race 64, little Diddy Kong Racing, Sherbert Island. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, well, it takes a while to get used to it. Like the Cheap Falls, is that the track? I don't know the track names really well, apparently, but that one was the first one I was like, whoa! And I didn't have the hang of it, but really going through, especially the beachy areas to the south, and you get a lot of experience riding on the waves. And I love, too, you're riding on the waves and you'll encounter different aquatic wildlife, especially in the interconnected regions, where you'll be driving along and, oh my god, a whale will jump over you, Free Willy style.
Oh my goodness.
And I took a picture of this in photo mode where Donkey Kong's holding out his hand as the water falls down on him from the whale. And I'm just like, this is special. This is a magic moment that I'm experiencing with my bud Donkey Kong. We've been good friends now for almost 31 years. And this just further enriches our bond.
You got to see a whale together.
Yeah, I mean, Donkey Kong's seen plenty of whales. He's even ridden on the back of a whale, and also a killer whale.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Orko.
What's Orko? That I should have remembered because there's that parody song where they say "Sail with Orko, Diddy, let's go." Right, Hyle?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Pretty good.
Anyway, so yeah, generally speaking, I really like the way this game plays. I do have a little, couple nitpicks, if you'll allow me.
Ooh, spit that nasty stuff.
24 racers on a track, fine. Think it's fun. Think, the more the merrier. And it makes sense for a big, grand cross-country game like this. But I do think it kind of imbalances the items again. I don't think the item system and the way it's set up works as well as it did in Mario Kart 8. And I think it's because of the glut of people on the track. And
there's going to be a lot more people throwing items.
And they maybe didn't account for that. And, like, it's really, really, really frustrating sometimes when you keep getting hit by spiny shells 3 or even 4 times in a single race. And meanwhile, if you're in first place, you're probably only getting feathers and coins. And I'm like, what is this feather going to do for me, really? Like, maybe I can jump over a shell that's not the spiny shell, but I'm going to get spiny shelled. Give me that goddamn horn. What do you mean I'm going to get a horn? It increases my chances to get a horn if I'm in second place. Well, why would I want a horn if I'm in second place? I want the spiny shell to take out the first. Now. And granted, yeah, you get in first place then, and you hold on to the horn, but then you get lightning bolted, and then all of a sudden you lose the horn.
It's a shame. It's a real shame.
I do wish they had maybe tweaked it a little bit, maybe lessened the spiny shell. But you know what? The game is so joyful, and it's such a joyous experience that I don't feel that burdened by it. I think the items are a step back in this game, but I love the game so much, it doesn't bother me that much.
Right. Other parts of the game just do such a good job that it doesn't matter that much. I will say it's rare for me to get just like absolutely pelted with spiny shells, but every now and then there have been times where it's just multiples. Something that happens to me a lot more often is I feel like I have my items stolen by the Boo item way more now.
Yeah, the Boo definitely plays a bigger role in this game. I feel the Boo item, I should say.
Yeah,
because I don't remember getting my items stolen nearly as much in past Mario Kart games.
I guess I'd rather have my items stolen than be hit with like a red shell or a spiny shell or something, but it happens so often. I feel like I can't have that the triple shells going around very often until like I'll have it for maybe like 10 seconds before Boo's like, "Oh, sorry, that's mine now."
Yeah. Skips says, did you know the devs almost considered cutting the green shell and banana peel in this entry because they thought it wouldn't make sense in this era? Now, I do find I'm able to like knock players out a lot more accurately with the green shell in this game.
Yeah, I do too. It feels a lot less useless.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about the boomerang, too. I never really cared that much about the boomerang in Mario Kart before, but I feel like in this one, I'm like, oh, yes, the boomerang. Thank you.
I miss the way it works in Mario Kart Tour, because it was Donkey Kong's special item, Donkey Kong Gladiator, his special item in Mario Kart Tour, and you get a frenzy, and you just have, like, 3 boomerangs circling you, and just knocking everybody out. And this feels a little bit underpowered compared to that just blitz of boomerang in Tour.
I could see that. I never really played Mario Kart Tour all that much, so I had no idea how it worked there. But just coming off of 8, like even in 8, I never really cared to get the boomerang, but here I really appreciate when I get it.
Freezer
says,
yeah.
Oh yeah, thinking back to when I stole your red shell, Dustin, and hit you with it. Fuck you.
Yeah, this is why I don't play.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Freezer.
This is why I haven't played with anybody else, because I don't want anybody to harsh my mellow.
No, it's fun. It's fun.
Whoa. Oh no. We're losing them.
Sorry. We've had kind of a sickness going around the Idaho.
Is it mad cow disease?
I hope not.
All the cows be eating cows, and then you're eating that, and then, oh God, your brain. Dustin's brain.
Ooh. There I go. I'm better. I got a nice sip of water.
All right. Well, let me know if you need anything else, buddy.
Hey, thanks, Hyle.
Yeah, chocolate milk. I'm not offering you chocolate milk. I'm saying chocolate milk drinker says 24 racers feels like actual racing. 12 racers just feels like Mario and his rich friends going to something like Top Golf on a Sunday afternoon and getting all of the snacks and drinks. I mean, to be fair, Formula One is mostly just rich assholes, and the racers they lift up from obscurity. Formula One's got a seedy underbelly, so it kind of makes sense. Ooh. But we've kind of opened this up. I guess the U.S. setting is more like a throwback to stock car racing, which had its roots in bootlegging. So it has a much more blue collar kind of everyman aspect to it.
I will say, even though having that many racers does make things very hectic when it comes to the items, I like it. I like having so many racers all at once.
Yeah, like, generally speaking, I do like it. I do think the items are a step back, but it's not quite as bad as Double Dash or DS was for me, because it feels like even when I get spiny shelled, and it does knock me back more than Mario Kart 8 does. Like, you do stop. It feels like for long. I haven't actually timed it or done a comparison, so this is all vibes. This is all feel. But I can recover in enough time that I can always reclaim my spot. Maybe not in multiplayer and maybe not in the harder difficulty, but, you know, it's not a deal breaker per se.
Yeah, for sure.
And then if I do get knocked back to second or third place, I do get better items, which increases my chances then of getting back to first by the end of the race.
Yeah, you know what, Hyle? That's a good way to look at it. You're always on the optimistic side.
For once, yeah. When it comes to the DKU this year, minus Platonic, I'm pretty optimistic.
when it's situational parts of the DKU.
Yes.
Things are going great.
Okay, well, and discounting Banjo-Kazooie and Conker and really Donkey Kong. I'm optimistic about Donkey Kong right now.
Yeah, it's really just the one part.
It's the one, yeah. So,
but hey,
yeah.
That's something. That's better than nothing.
I don't really have much to say. Grand Prix, been having a lot of fun with it. I love the way Grand Prix is structured. I love that it does do the interconnected routes. I think, you know, I don't care what the haters say. This is...
It seemed a little weird at first to me just because it's only one track that you do the full 3 laps on. It seems a little weirdly balanced in that way. But I do like it overall. I really love... well, we talked about it at the beginning of the show. I think the connecting routes really help vary it up in a fun way.
Yeah, I agree. And, I think a lot of people don't like it just because it's different.
Yeah, and, I get it. But the option to just do traditional 3-lap races is still in there. So I think everybody wins at the end.
I also have been enjoying Knockout Tour.
Knockout Tour is crazy. That's like my favorite new addition to this game. It gets so intense, especially if you play online with like a full 24-person group. It's crazy. It's bananas, one might say.
Freezer says, except when you kept losing.
Yeah, I did keep losing. It's hard. When you have that many people, it's tough.
Knockout Tour is a lot of fun, and you know what? The battle mode is kind of undercooked yet again in Mario Kart World, and I don't care. You know what? The hell with battle mode. I'll say it. Battle mode was fun back in the day. I don't need it now. You know why? Because the Mario Kart World experience is elevated beyond such vulgarities as battle mode. Because we have Knockout Tour now. That's so much more fun for me. I don't care about popping balloons. What? Popping balloons? What are we? Just like talking about gross YouTube videos? Those YouTube videos where people are just popping zits?
Ew.
Well, that's all you're doing in battle mode. You're just popping balloons, popping each other's balloons. Let me pop your balloon, buddy. You get that pus all over the place. You get the squirt all the pus all over the mirror. Look at how much pus are we gonna go? Oh, there's blood in this. Ooh, fun.
Well, I used to like battle mode until this.
Well, I'm glad I ruined it for you. Because, we don't need battle mode when we have an amazing Grand Prix, an amazing Knockout Tour,
Knockout Tour is so good.
A versus mode that is just so customizable and varied and always changing, and free roam, which, free roam, I've seen the complaints, but I don't agree. And maybe it's just we're looking for different things in our Mario Kart, and I am the person who has had a chip on his shoulder about Mario Kart since Diddy Kong Racing came out. So since November 1997, I have been like, Mario Kart, do better. And I feel like Mario Kart World is finally Mario Kart saying, okay. And for the people who were just fine with Mario Kart until now, they're like, Mario Kart, what are you doing? I liked you the way you were.
What is all this?
I wanted Mario Kart 9, which would just have different tracks and different characters and maybe a new item or two. This is not what I wanted from my Mario Kart experience. And to that I say, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still playable on the Switch too.
Yeah, we just got a whole bunch of new tracks for it.
I don't know. Like, I'm sorry you don't like free roam mode. I'm sorry you feel like it's undercooked or it's empty or whatever. I have, like, honestly, I think free roam is where I'm gonna live for the duration of my Mario Kart World life going forward. But I haven't played it as much as I thought I would, just because I'm still having so much fun with the interconnected game world as it's unspooled for me in Versus and Grand Prix and Knockout Tour. Like, free roam, when I finally, like, finish everything and all that's left is the stuff to do in free roam, I think free roam will be how I spend the majority of my time in the game, because it's just a great way to exist.
Yeah.
In Mario Kart. And it's finally a way to exist in Mario Kart without that scold Lakitu or Lakitu or whatever however you I don't care. You know why?
I always pronounce it Lakitu.
Lakitu, well, that guy can suck my balls because if he
Whoa.
if he wants, I'm not saying I'm gonna make him.
I like how this went. I like how this went from like "fuck you, Lakitu" to if you want.
I was realized being kind of aggressive, and I had to consider his consent before the ball suckage.
It went from an aggressive threat to an offer.
I was like, too far, rein it back, just, okay, yes, sir, if you would consent to sucking on my balls, please do so. Because
feel free.
I don't approve of the way you always fished me out of where I wanted to go.
On one hand, I can see where some people are coming from, like, just, if they wanted, like, a bigger campaign with more things to do. I can see the disappointment there, but, I feel like sometimes you gotta appreciate the smaller things in life. Sometimes you don't need, like, a huge, campaign with, like, tons of shit to do in it. And there is tons of shit to do here. There's lots of the, P-Switch, challenges. And all you really unlock in free roam are stickers and costumes, but maybe that's enough. I like getting all these stickers by doing these little challenges.
Yeah.
I like just driving around and being in the world.
Yeah, I think too, like, the ability to just exist in a game is always something I will adore and appreciate. And like Grand Theft Auto, I am somebody who does like Grand Theft Auto, but I don't play it for the story or the missions, really.
Right.
I just like to explore the world. I'm not there for, the gangland shit. I'm there for, I get to go around this heavily fictional version of Miami or Los Angeles or the greater Southern California area, and that's fun. And just seeing all the Easter eggs and all the ways that it ties together. And that's, like, I'm also the freak who played Pokemon wrong. I just waddle around the grass outside of Pallet Town, leveling up my Pokemon one at a time, which is wrong. Mitchell Wolf, our friend, absolutely despises me for the way I play Pokemon. But you know what? I think fun.
I do too, but I can't tell you not to.
I find fun in unusual ways, I guess. And for me, just getting to have at a Mario Kart World, drive off the track, drive into the hinterlands, that's spectacular, and that's enough for me. The fact that they even put missions in there at all, little P-Switch missions and stuff, it's just bonus. Like, I would have just been fine with the ability to just explore without any added challenges or things to unlock.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad they did. I feel like I'd be a little disappointed if there was, like, absolutely nothing to do in there. But, I think the P-Switches are enough, and there's tons of them. Like, I don't know the exact number, but I thought I heard some people saying, like, 300 of them just strewn about the world. That's not nothing.
It's not nothing unless you're looking for something to complain about.
Yeah, for sure. In a mode that feels like just a really cool bonus thing to go along with the normal Mario Kart stuff anyway.
Well, that's what it does feel like, just a bonus thing, doesn't it? Because it's not really advertised on the menu. You kind of have to go down to go to free roam mode, and it's kind of just like a little perk.
Yeah, and granted, it doesn't feel like Nintendo was advertising it as just a little perk. It's been pretty front and center when talking about this game. So I think in that way, I sympathize with people who maybe got their hopes up a little from the way Nintendo was presenting it. But yeah, I've been having a great time with it. I love free roam mode.
Yeah, and we've already talked about the music a little bit, but I think it's sublime, really. Like,
it's so good.
I love the soundtrack for this. I love how it weaves in familiar motifs from across the Mario series, not just Mario Kart, but just across the spectrum of Mario and Donkey Kong. And I think there's WarioWare tracks in there as well.
There's a WarioWare track in there. WarioWare never gets referenced in Mario Kart. That's so wild.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, I wish maybe they could have done more with it, like GTA style, like radio stations, mixtapes, but that's just like wish fulfillment at that point. That's just like, oh yeah, well, I also wish I could earn real money from playing the game.
Yeah, I wish they gave me $30 every time I turn my Switch 2 on.
Another thing I do wish is I do wish we had a double dash mode, like an option, because for me, yeah, like I like solitary road trips, but also there's something special about going on a road trip with a friend. And so this would have been a really good game to bring back Double Dash as a mode. Like either you're driving with a friend or you can control two characters at the same time on a kart. And like the races would be like you could have Double Dash specific races or just go Double Dash mode in free roam. I think that would have been a good feature. And, there's still the chance DLC, the additions would be coming for the game. But, yeah.
Right. I've wanted a Double Dash mode to come back for forever. Like, it just seems like it would be a cool thing to... Like when Double Dash came out, that was the only way to play Double Dash. But it would be great to have the option.
Yeah.
You could do singles if you want, doubles if you want. That feels like something they really should have just done by now.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't, and it's something I've wanted to come back. Because, I love buddy duos. I love teaming up. Adventures are made for more than one person. And,
yeah, you could pair up Donkey Kong with the Penguin.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I don't really have many options to pair Donkey Kong up with anybody.
The iconic duo.
Yeah. I mean, Pauline, I guess, would be the one, but yeah.
Yeah.
I still won't be unlocking any of the additional costumes now, would I?
That's true. You'd still just be using those two specifically.
All right. Well, Dustin, we have some calls.
No way.
Yeah, people have opinions, it turns out, about video games. And I thought we were the only ones.
Specifically a brand new video game that just came out.
Yeah. And a high-profile series that has a lot of resonance for our audience. I'm shocked, just as you are. So... We're going to play about 7 calls. And I say about because we could get more when we start this process. We could have 8 calls. We could have 9 calls. And I might be feeling generous. I'm like, let's add it to the mix. Let's keep going. I could go all night. Unlike my Switch 2, my battery is still near full.
I could go all night, but I won't. I don't want to.
Wow, Dustin's laying down the law with me. So, we're going to play 7 calls. Dustin decrees it has to be these 7. Okay,
7's just a good number.
Yeah, it's kind of lucky. The lucky number 7 item?
Yeah, they did a Mario Kart. That's 7. They said, you know what? 7 sounds pretty good.
And then they were like, 8 sounds even better. And then they were like, let's stop numbering them.
Yeah, quit while you're ahead.
All right, let's play our first call so we can quit while we're ahead.
Hey, how's it going, guys? How's it going? It's John Tessier here calling in for the Kongversation. And what is this? The Kongversation is selecting calls. A guy can't call in anymore and call Banjo a huge stoner and get featured on the episode and have that be the whole direction of the episode anymore? What is happening? The DK Vine Kongversation is popular now. Oh my goodness. Not that it was always popular. It was always such a great podcast. But anyway, okay, let's talk about Mario Kart World. Okay, here's the thing. I'll be quick with it. Mario Kart World, there was a couple conversations ago, Hyle, where you were saying Banjo-Tooie is the type of game that's only good for rare weirdos who are really weird and who really like the intricate little things. And I'm going to be honest, I think Mario Kart World is like that too. I think Mario Kart World is a game for the Mario Kart weirdos. Not that it's not going to appeal to the masses and that people aren't going to like it, but I'm just seeing some lukewarm reception from other people out there. Like, oh, there's not much to do, there's not much to see. But for the weirdos, for the Mario Kart weirdos, the people who really like to get the nitty-gritty of that game, I think there is a lot to do and there's a lot to see. And my question for you guys is, what is your favorite little, intricate little thing in Mario Kart World that you think speaks to the greater DKU, that really it shines? What's that little detail that you guys really enjoy? If you haven't mentioned it already. Okay, thanks, Hyle. Hopefully you take my call. If not, all good, man. I'm so glad the conversation is getting more popular. All right, have a good one, guys. Peace out. See ya.
Well, thank you for the call, John Tessier. Not only did we play your call, I played your call first.
How's that? How do you like them apples?
Oh. Oh, they should call the apples in Bonanza apples.
Because he's an A.
Because he's an
See,
A.
that's good.
Yeah, is that the case? Are the, Mario Kart sickos, the weirdos, are they the ones who like this game? Or, because I'm feeling the opposite. I'm feeling like I'm the one who's had issues with Mario Kart for the better part of 30 years. And I'm the one who really loves this game. And it seems like it's getting a lukewarm reception from the people who would normally champion this kind of thing. I don't know. Yeah,
I've been kind of feeling that way too. I've seen a lot of people who are not so hot on it. And I love this game a lot. I don't necessarily consider myself a Mario Kart sicko. I've always liked Mario Kart all right, but honestly, it's rarely ever been in my top kart racers.
Yeah.
But this one's doing it for me.
Yeah, maybe John is close, but not quite there. Maybe this is the Mario Kart game for the rare sickos.
It's definitely for a sicko of some kind.
Yeah. But whatever the case may be, I do find it funny that finally I'm rapturous about a Mario Kart game. I just won't shut up about it. And the internet's like,
Yawn.
And I'm like, well, on one hand, I hate that I'm always out of the zeitgeist, but on the other hand, at least I'm actually enjoying it.
Well, to be fair, lots of people are really enjoying it still. It's getting great reviews. I've seen people really love it. I've just seen some people who've had kind of muted reactions to it, and who knows if it's the way this game changes it up. I've seen some people who just don't have a Switch 2 who are just looking for reasons to not be excited.
Yeah. I think I've got some theories. Some friends of ours had some theories. We'll get into that in a bit. But John also was asking about what little thing about this game do we like? What little thing said ties to the greater DKU, but I think we might have already touched upon all the little things we like. There's so many though. There's so many. I don't know if I could just choose one. That's the problem.
It's tough.
I like the ostriches have big Donkey Kong Country style animal buddy eyes.
I do like that. I like the poster in DK Spaceport that's displaying all the different kinds of ships they've had. Like the rocket barrel is there. Mm-hmm. Just showing the progress they've made to the big shuttle.
Yeah. I like that. I like the Donkey Kong's in it. That's a given, though.
That's a good thing for the DKU. Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise we wouldn't even be talking about this game if Donkey Kong wasn't in it at all.
I feel like if Donkey Kong wasn't there, then the ties to the DKU would be a little weaker than normal.
Yeah. But no, thank you for the call, John. Let's play number 2. Whoa. Sorry. Andre's screaming. Andre's mad. Just Andre in the chat.
Goodness.
Just Andre is going through it right now. Just Andre says, I repeat, talk about the memorial plaque in Dry Bones Burnout.
So I'm actually not sure what Andre is talking about. I think Dry Bones Burnout is the area in the world I've spent the least time. Not for any reason. I just haven't really spent that much time there yet. So I don't know what he is referring to.
You know what? It's the area I've spent the least amount of time in as well. And I'm sad. Like, is this a memorial plat for Wrinkly Kong? Is Wrinkly Kong's skeleton in Dry Bones Burnout, and we just don't know about it?
They should have made her skeleton an item that you can kind of hit people with.
We're like that would be amazing when we get the eventual Donkey Kong DLC package. We get Diddy Kong, we get Dixie Kong, we get Funky Kong, we get Wrinkly's ghost, and we get Wrinkly's body as Dry Wrinkly Kong.
See, now that would be good.
All right, Andre, I'm looking it up right now. Can't believe I'm this unprepared. But you know what? I didn't know about any memorial plaque. So, I'm going to our friends at Super Mario Wiki, even though they had guard
Just Andre says in the chat, I don't know if it's within the bounds of the actual track or not, but there's a spot with lots of memorial candles commemorating the giant 300-year-old Koopa whose bones form the track.
Okay.
I like that.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
You got my hopes up. I thought it was going to be a specific reference tailored to my interest, not a Koopa thing, but a Wrinkly Kong thing.
Well, Just Andre also says the gravestone reads "Race in Peace."
That's pretty solid.
Pretty
though.
good.
That's all right. You know what? They won me again. They win me over. They're doing Super Mario, but they're doing it correctly.
They're doing it fun.
They're doing it fun. Yeah. All right, well, you learn something new about Mario Kart World each time you play it, and apparently each time you talk about it.
Wow. The world is so beautiful.
Let's take our second caller, and if anybody else in the chat wants to yell at us about anything we haven't talked about, maybe wait until after this call is done.
Hello, Kongversation. This is Rose, or Brinstar Real Estate. And I know on the podcast for the past couple months you've been talking about, we've got all these new listeners from Donkey Kong Bonanza. Hi, that's me. I'm one of those. I knew about you guys for a while from the Geek Critique, but I've been just listening in the past couple months, and now I'm listening to 4-hour episodes about Espresso the Ostrich, so thank you so much for that. I've been playing Mario Kart World since launch day, and it's been a good time. I played Donkey Kong, of course, soon, and I got his all-terrain costume. And, it's fine. I'd probably rather play as normal Donkey Kong. But the thing about it is I find it kind of insulting. I find the name kind of insulting. All-terrain? Donkey Kong? Do you think he needs some of that goofy special gear to be in all-terrain? He is a strong animal. He is a strong ape. He can move around in lava and in ice and in cliffs and mud and all sorts of things. So I don't really like that implication. It is his one costume, but as everyone's been saying, I'm sure that him and probably Pauline are going to get more things as DLC. I'm really more worried about the NPC characters because they seem a little bit like an afterthought. The way you unlock them is kind of weird. None of them get a costume, and I just really think that Swoop the Bat deserves to have a little beret or something. I hope they add more of those later. I've been having a good time with the game in general, but I have been seeing this sort of divide where people either really like the free roam mode and they're like, oh, it's fun to just kind of glide around and not worry and just soak it all in, and then people who get really irritated about the lack of trackers and ways to track your collectibles, like the P-switches and whatever. I'm having a hard time finding it. It's not really clicking for me. I don't know. I think I'm someone who likes to be thorough, and the controls for moving around are just way more interested in pushing you forward. So if you miss something, it's a little bit of an ordeal to turn around. That's what the rewind feature is for, I guess. But I'm having a good time. This is a little bit corny, but when they did the Rainbow Road cutscene and going up to there, that was a great build-up. I teared up a little bit, which is crazy because I don't even care that deeply about Mario Kart. Hope you're having a good time with the game. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for doing the podcast. Thanks for running the site. And I'll see you.
Well, thank you for the call.
Thank
Rose
you.
or Brinstar Real Estate. By the way, first time caller, they timed it just right. They got out right before it hit the 3-minute mark.
Nailed it on the first try.
So I don't know if you had a separate timer or if your sense of time is just so finely tuned because of Mario Kart World, because you have to be fast, and whatever the case may be, bravo.
Yeah, good job. I totally agree. It's very weird the way they handle the drone racers, because like some of them are just normal racers, like Lakitu and Shy Guy and Koopa Troopa are just kind of considered like main racers. But how come they get costumes while ones like Penguin and Pokey and stuff don't?
Right.
It's just a little weird who they decide is the more important ones.
It did feel like once Cal was in, I mean, we know this to be the case, but once they hit upon Cal, it did just become a feeding frenzy of like, what other random weirdos can we get in as drivers? And it kind of snowballed to the point where they didn't have the time or the space to come up with outfits for any of them, and they do feel like afterthoughts in some cases, just like bonuses. And it is weird that it's tied to the curse. And like I'm thinking to the more recent the Super Mario Party Jamboree, and of course this was a very tossed off way they did this, but when you would spot the characters on the map and then they would become unlockable. Like, oh, there's Pauline over there. Now we can play as
use
Pauline.
her now.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying exactly that, but it would have been kind of fun if you would have to, like, find some of those drivers in free roam or something. Like, maybe they're out
that'd
there,
be fun.
and you have to find them, you have to uncover them, and then they'll join the roster from there.
Yeah, I mean, that would give you another little thing to do in free roam mode, especially since the way you unlock them with the Kamek item is so weird and annoying.
I didn't have a problem with it. Apparently, apparently the game rewards you if you're never going to use the characters.
Freezer getting mad at me, saying, my boy Koopa Troopa deserves to be a main boy. Fuck you, Dustin. No, I get that. I'm not saying he shouldn't have costumes. I'm just saying it's weird that ones like Koopa Troopa and Lakitu are considered main racers who get costumes, while a lot of those drone ones aren't. Like, you'd think Goomba would be one that would be important enough to get some costumes or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just strange what characters fall on which side of the line.
And they gave Mario so many costumes.
He has like 10, which I get. He's the main guy. He's
Mr. Is he the... I know it's called Mario Kart, but really...
Yeah, his name is in the title.
He's just one of 24 in any given race. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. What makes him more important, other than all of the things he's done and accomplished?
Oh, he's only accomplished it because he was handed it, okay?
Where did he get that castle in Mario Land, too?
If his dad wasn't Miyamoto, do you think he would have all these games about him? He's a Nepo baby.
Fizz Tap in the chat says, I've seen more cows in this game than Mario's.
That's true. That is true.
People like the cow more than Mario.
There's also all the
I
NPC
think Mario
cows.
might be on his way out.
There's also all the NPC cows in around
true.
Moo Moo Meadows, and there's also all the cow meats you can get from Yoshi's.
That's true. That's a lot more cow. Some of them you can even eat and enjoy if you want.
I'm also worried that Freezer. I said Freezer should stop hate watching things. I'm worried that we're one of the things Freezer hate watches because Freezer's getting very mad.
I think this time, instead of saying "fuck you, Dustin," what Freezer should say is, "Dustin, here's $20." That would be great.
Yeah, I guess like I would be more bothered by the NPC drivers if this was Donkey Kong Racing, and I'm like, God, I really want to get the naughty. I really want to unlock the naughty, and it's just like, but I still haven't gotten the. What even would it be? I still haven't gotten the cackle curse. I still haven't gotten the cackle curse that turns me into a naughty to unlock naughty. And then, like, I'm dispassionate when it comes to most of these characters because I'm the Donkey Kong freak, the sicko.
Right. I think I'm just always gonna lean more towards actual characters than just like throwing Goombas or charging Chucks in there.
Yeah, I mean, Freezer likes Koopa Troopa, and we have fans of other characters in the chat. So
right, like Koopa Troopa makes sense since he was in the original. You know, I don't feel like it should be completely without characters like Koopa Troopa or Hammer Brother or something.
Yeah.
But just when you add that many of them, I'm just going to be like, well, aren't there like actual characters you could have added in first? Even besides Diddy Kong, like Petey Piranha isn't here. He's kind of become a mainstay.
Yeah. You know where I fall on this. Like, Diddy Kong Racing, one of the things I love about Diddy Kong Racing is it wasn't just Critter. It was Crunch, the Kremling. And, yeah, like, it's always going to be my preferred interpretation to have, like, these individualistic... Like, you can have them be a Goomba and a Dry Bones, but, like, maybe have them be, like, Dave the Dry Bones.
Yeah. Gary the Goomba.
Yeah, exactly. So
and he has like a goatee.
Yeah. Giga Strike says we could have had 1 versus 3 minigame tree.
That would have been good.
Yeah, where are the Mario Party originals? Like Fun Gus? the fake Millennium Star? Come on.
I mean, there's lots of characters from, like, the Mario RPGs that you could put in these, but they seem so allergic to ever acknowledging them ever.
Well, they're finally getting around to acknowledging Super Mario Land in a capacity that's more than just Daisy. So,
yeah.
You know.
It could happen.
They're acknowledging DKC 3 and Donkey Kong Bonanza, so, you know.
They put a WarioWare song in.
Skip says, Biker Yoshi is Boshi, actually, Dustin.
I mean, you know, it's not like they call him Boshi.
Right. He looks like Boshi, but he's not really Boshi. It's like, yeah, like...
It's not really the same thing. It's a neat reference.
Yeah, like they change, like, Diddy Kong's shirt as an alt in Smash, and it kind of looks like Dixie, but that's not actually Dixie Kong. That's just Diddy. He changed his shirt.
Right.
Right. All right, we have more calls to play. We're getting hung up on this.
You got a lot.
Thank you for the call. Let's play Let's play our third call, Dustin.
Hey, Hyle and guest, it's Frieza. Okay, we know that Donkey Kong would have wanted Diddy Kong to come in, maybe even Dixie, Cranky, Funky, whoever, but usually they're not allowed in because Mario or whoever is in charge of Mario Kart is a bit racist. But I have a question. Why does you from It's Mr. Pants and many other games, why do they not return? they've been let in quite a lot. They can pretty much invited to most cameo things. So, is Mario tightening the leash, or was there a falling out with you and Donkey Kong? Thank you.
Well, thank you for the speak of... I was going to say the devil, but that's mean. You're not the devil, Freezer. You're just very passionate about Koopa Troopa, and you're yelling at Dustin right now.
I'm trying to make sure people don't hear my sobbing. That'd be hard to edit out of the episode.
Yeah, this is one of the big exclusions from this iteration of Mario Kart. And, like, is Nintendo straying away from the Miis? What's going on? Maybe. You know what? Like, the Miis grew on me. At first, it was just like, really? You're shoehorning Miis and everything? These weird, like, little pegging-looking humanoids that are supposed to represent us, and you're putting them in these instead of, like, actual characters. I don't like this, but then eventually, you know, it just became tradition, and I liked having the option of when I have no other characters, I could always play as myself, one of the biggest advocates for the Kongs, you know? It's nice. It's a nice fallback. And of course, as we've established here on the Kongversation and in other areas of DK Vine, it represents you, the character of you, and in the annals of the DKU, your first appearance would have naturally been on the game show Is Mr. Pants, and that would have been how the Kongs first were introduced to you, and they got to know you, and they started inviting you to things. So, anyway, yeah, it's a bit weird that Miis aren't in it, and I do hope that comes with a DLC update. I mean, Mario Kart Tour did it. Miis weren't in Mario Kart Tour at first, and it wasn't several years in until they said, yeah, okay, here's the Mii update.
Do you want to know my opinion on the Miis?
You don't like the Miis.
It's not that I don't like the Miis. Like, I don't get angry when I see them in a Mario Kart game, but I don't give a blue shit about the Miis either. Like, if anyone had to be cut from a Mario Kart roster, I think Miis would be first on my list. I would be like, get them, I don't care. Like, I don't get upset that they're there, but if someone has to go, I'm gonna say, get those Miis out of here.
You know, it could be, too, thinking about it some more, because eating, gobbling up food is such a big component of this Mario Kart. It could be that Mario did not have time to review the food allergies of the thousands and thousands of Miis that exist. And
that's true.
They just had said, you know what? No weird game show contestants can be invited to this Mario Kart because, quite frankly, we don't know if they can eat this bread. They might have a gluten allergy.
Yeah, and we don't want another lawsuit.
So many lawsuits, yeah. I mean, it's the whole reason Rob hasn't shown up since Mario Kart DS.
R.I.P.
I mean, I know there's the vehicle based on him in this one, but yeah, he, yeah, there was.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't going to let him go to waste.
Yeah, there's the sexual harassment lawsuit that he filed against Luigi of all people. Shocking. It's kind of been swept under the rug since then. It's a big scandal in the mid-aughts.
I don't believe that even for a second. I believe Luigi's innocent. I look at Luigi and I don't think he could do anything.
Yeah, you're always sticking up for the perpetrator and attacking the victim, Dustin. You sicken me.
I'm just saying I'm always on Team Luigi, no matter what he does in real life.
Sometimes you have to just take a big fat L if you're on Team Luigi.
We're used to it. We like the L's.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be fine with... The thing about the Miis, too, is you have to have all the costumes. And maybe they just didn't have time. Clearly, they're struggling coming up with costumes as is for all the characters already in it. And they were just like, yeah, whatever. This game's going to be around for years. We're going to have DLC out the ass. whatever.
Yeah.
Let's not focus
if
on
they
that.
if they end up putting the Mii's in with all their little costumes, that's fine. I probably won't play as them myself.
Yeah, I might play as myself in a Donkey Kong costume or whatever, but, just so I can say, like, I was actually at DK Spaceport once. It's important for
I got the invite.
Yeah, it's important for my own character arc that I know that I've actually been there and visited, just like I've been in DK Jungle.
Right, yeah, it's just for your own amusement.
So I can say, when I'm writing my memoirs, yeah, you know what? I've actually driven a go-kart on a big bouncing flower and landed near DK's treehouse, and I had to swerve from those tiki goons.
Your great grandkids, when you're on your deathbed, will be looking through your memoirs and saying, "Wow, great Grampy Hyle did that."
Okay, well, at this point, I'm probably not even going to have kids, so I don't know where these great grandkids are coming from.
They were born on a farm. They were grown.
Oh, this is like a Dino Jungle situation, but for
it's the future.
DK Vine staffers, we're just going to start cloning ourselves.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, I think.
Honestly, yeah. Then there can be a Hyle that does the podcast, a Hyle that just does videos, a Hyle that does the news updates on the site. Like, oh yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanzas on these trolleys in San Diego. Hyle number 3, you handle that.
One of them will be known as Weird Hyle.
It's the clone of the clone of the clone. It's a multiplicity situation with Michael Keaton,
Yeah, things got a little weird, but you just can't bring yourself to destroy him.
No, I mean, he gives such great hand jobs.
Yeah,
right,
that's why he's Weird Hyle.
Let's play the 4th call.
Jolly's Jeepers. Ain't it great? No longer Mario Kart 8. Just kidding, I love Mario Kart 8. Hello, this is Traveler of the Stars. Hyle and Dustin. Okay, you guys need to stop looking so great. You make me want to, I don't know what you're comfortable with. A handshake, a hug, a kiss on the forehead, a pat on the forehead. I don't know what you want, but you guys just look amazing. Mario Kart World. What a gorgeous game, first of all. Second of all, Hyle, I'll buy your Blue Sky post. I feel bad for you, yeah, because, I would imagine that you are, really into this game, so the world aspect, it feeling like a real place, and, so much negativity. And, it's really weird. You'll see, a positive post about the game, or just, the Switch 2, and people will be bombarded with, negative comment. It's just really weird. But, anyway, I love Mario Kart 8. Great game. I played it on the Wii U when it came out. And, I like Anti-Gravity's the way it affected, the track design, but the player, you didn't really do much. But, wall riding and, rail grinding, it's, basically Anti-Gravity, but, you go on the wall, but, you actively do it. It requires more skill. And I think that's cool. Boy, what were they thinking with the Kamek item unlock? What was the deal there? My guess is they wanted to be replayable, but I know Hyle doesn't care about the Cataquack or the Peepa, but the audience, we love the Peepa, don't we? We love them. Also, I'll just say, no spoilers. I'm feeling you're not going to talk about Rainbow Road in depth, but what a Rainbow Road! I mean, I heard how great it was, but it really felt like the track designers, the team, heard the complaints about the Wii U Rainbow Road and were like, yeah, we're gonna just do it again, but way better, and we're just gonna take everything from the past Rainbow Roads. And as someone with Hyle who you love N64 Rainbow Road, I definitely got some whiffs of that in this one, both the original and remake. What a magical experience. They really don't get emotional in video games, but the finale of that Rainbow Road, man, it was truly incredible. I like the Grand Prix being a little different. I don't really get the people who are they don't like it, because I don't know, you can do versus mode and you can just do the 3 laps, but they should add an online option. But yeah, I look forward to this game being supported and all the content we'll see. Keep up the great work, guys, and Nabbit and Peepa forever. and Cataquack Kingdom.
Not that I forget the soundtrack. Dustin is a man of the people like Mitchell and all the rest, but Hyle, as you say, you are a freak of nature, dedicated to the DKU. So not counting the D3 of DK Jungle. Come on. The music's good, right? I mean, come on. I don't know if you turn up your nose like, Mario Paint, but I'm like, come on. It's a good thing. Listen, I don't really care about Jeff Keighley's Big Days Out or whatever, but if it doesn't win Soundtrack of the Year at the Game Awards, I would be shocked, because I feel like the soundtrack and the visuals are like the one thing that everyone's praising. So, yep.
Well, thank you, Traveler of the Stars. I like Mario Paint. Come on. I know. I present a reputation of the Mario antagonism is not completely genuine, right? It's just because Cranky Kong is listening and Cranky Kong wants me to go hard against Mario at all times. I don't really hate Mario though. I was actually a big fan of Mario before Donkey Kong Country, and I had Mario Paint. I had the SNES mouse. I love the music. I love the Nat attack. I loved it. Come on now. Come on. Yeah, people are kind of weird about this game, for sure. Kind of weird about the Switch 2. With the Switch 2, I think it's just, again, tearing something down for those who can't afford it yet. I think that's an aspect of it. I also think the way the algorithm works online is that people have to be negative about anything when it comes to pop culture or entertainment, because that's how they get the clicks. That's how they get attention, is to just actually enjoying something is cringe. And no, I mean that's where we're at.
I'm glad you said it, Hyle.
How dare you actually derive any pleasure from life, you fucking boomer. We love just shitting on everything. Nothing can be enjoyed anymore, because we have to find a wedge issue with this. And usually that wedge issue is with something very, very ugly. Usually it's people fighting culture wars and ginning up misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, racism, and go in that angle, and it works for them, and they're freakishly wealthy because of it. And with the Switch 2, it's just, how dare these greedy people charge so much for a video game console and games. And yeah, sure. I do understand, corporate greed and whatnot, but
let's clarify that people don't have to like anything either. If someone doesn't like anything for any one reason, that's totally fair.
I'm not saying be a mindless consumer. I'm not saying be a sheep. Go bye. There are no sheep that you can play as in Mario Kart.
Got a cow. That's the first step.
That's basically, what is all in the farm, The
whole barnyard's going to be invited next game.
In the dark, what's the difference between a cow and a sheep?
You shouldn't fuck either of them.
Good advice, Dustin. Listen to Dustin, everyone. Don't be fucking the cow.
I have good advice from time to time.
Not with the cow, unless the cow says, please, I want that.
I still think you probably shouldn't, but at least it's better if they consent.
Chocolate Milk Drinkers tap it out. Chocolate Milk Drinker says, why would you have that thought? I hate this podcast. 3 broken heart emojis.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Sometimes we shouldn't say the first thing that comes to the top of our head, really.
Yeah. I mean, all I can say is sorry.
we stumble so you can learn from us, but
Chocolate Milk Drinker's right. I shouldn't have said that.
I shouldn't have ended it. We should stop feeding into each other's perversions, Dustin.
We're really bad about that. We enable each other.
We're Thelma and
Louise
about it. We're Thelma and Louising this car right off a cliff is what we're doing.
Oh, you could do that in Mario Kart World.
If you had a double dash mode.
Yeah. That's why we need it. It's so you can do a Thelma and Louise.
No, like, again, if people are legitimately, they can't get into this game, and I find that weird, it's no more weird than people who love Double Dash and think it's weird that I can't get into it for my own sick reasons. So, like, it's all, I just think it's kind of funny how people are getting passionate about this and having some weird opinions. I think it was Transparency who said on Blue Sky, like, people are being weird about this Mario Kart. Kind of strange.
A little weird.
When you look at like the history, the groupthink of Mario Kart, I think there are some reasons why they're getting weird about it. Our friend Josh from Off of the Geek Critique, in response to that post, had a great point. Mario Kart 8 has been the Mario Kart game for 11 years running. And I mean, yes, there was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but that was just basically an extended, improved, beefed up version of the Wii U game, right? So
still mostly the same game.
Yes, and Mario Kart Tour and some Mario Kart arcade games, but primarily speaking, Mario Kart 8 has been the Mario Kart for an entire generation. Chocolate Milk Drinker brought up before we repulsed them, brought up that, you know, this is only the second Mario Kart game in their lifetime. And like the first one where they're really like old enough to appreciate it upon release.
Yeah.
And I can see that because of that, because of how large Mario Kart 8 looms over people growing up with it, like, it's solidified for an entire generation the ideal of Mario Kart, and any deviation from that, even in the slightest way, is going to be met with resistance. Whereas, you know, I'm used to growing up in a climate where a new Mario Kart game comes out every couple years. Every few years, you get a new take on Mario Kart. And yeah, Mario Kart Double Dash repulsed me.
Well, that's another case where, like, that's bringing something brand new to the series too. But people loved that. I assume people liked it. I don't want to put words in people's mouths.
But the thing is, there will be fans of Mario Kart World who will view this as the ideal Mario Kart, same as anything. Yeah, I mean, we're hearing the backlash now, but it's the same thing as like the Star Wars prequels or the Star Wars sequels or any Star Wars really, where it comes out and the generation who grew up with the previous iteration says this isn't how you do it. And then the people who grew up with that will come of age and they'll say, actually, it is how you do it. So,
yeah,
like moving beyond just grifter culture, online grifter culture, looking to tear things down, I think that's basically at the core of like the honest Mario Kart World criticism. That's mostly where it's coming from. Not counting the people who are just looking to tear into it because they think it'll get them richer this month.
Right, although I would like to get richer this month. I'm not going to take it out on Mario Kart World, but...
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing this all wrong, talking about how much I love this game. I mean...
You need to be talking about things you hate.
The thing is, when I was hating on stuff, I didn't have my game on. I didn't know how to monetize DK Vine. And so I was wasting all of that hatred in a vacuum. It was just hatred for the sake of hating things. Like, oh my god, bongos?
Right, but there is a purity to that as well.
Yes, spoken like
you didn't do it for the money. You hated just for the sheer fun of it.
Spoken like a true Sith Lord in a Star Wars prequel, Dustin.
That's me. I'm the bad guy. Whoops.
Chocolate Milk Drinker reassures us. I don't hate this podcast, actually. It's okay, guys. Well, maybe not that
good.
comment.
I'm glad.
Maybe not that comment, but I like this podcast still. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be bringing up any barnyard bestiality anymore on this episode.
Well, never say never, Hyle.
Yeah, we do have 3 more calls, and we don't know in this free roam era. We don't know which road they're going to take us down.
Yeah, we'll see. But we can't promise anything.
Anyway, thank you for the call, Traveler of the Stars. Let's play our fifth caller. Knock on wood. No cow stooping in this one.
Hello, Dustin. Hello, Hyle. I'm calling in from Mario Kart World. Briefly about the game itself, I think that it's smart and good, and picking a new style for Mario Kart was definitely the smart choice to make here, given that 60 million people plus can play classic style Mario Kart with all the content they could ever want, with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe throughout the entirety of the Switch 2 life. The main thing I want to talk about, though, is the roster, and I feel like we're going to get a few calls about the roster, but I'm not just talking about Donkey Kong characters. I don't have any idea how much you know about the title. I don't know what your information diet is like, but the great debate among the Mario Kart roster, other than should it include more crossover characters and basically be Smash Kart, is whether like 5 Mario characters should be thrown in. Like, should we get characters from the RPGs? Should we get characters from Luigi's Mansion? That sort of thing. And Mario Kart World is very emphatically against that. You're introducing a lot of random enemies before we're getting something like that. And weirdly, Donkey Kong seems to be like the one side series where they sort of make an exception for that, where there's just like, you can get like a lot of Kongs at once. Although not in Mario Kart World. So maybe Donkey Kong is slipping down the hierarchy a little. I would probably expect this to change the DLC or like updates, but that's not technically guaranteed to happen, so we'll have to see what happens to that. Also, we need more baby characters, not nearly enough baby characters. And me, Baby Waluigi.
Oh my god. We didn't cut them off there. That wasn't me yanking the cord because I am opposed to the baby characters per se. They just hung up on themselves because I think they knew they were crossing a line. No, thank you for the call. Yeah, like, of course, I'm all about individual character. I mean, we already talked about this. I would love to see more obscure Mario, Wario, Yoshi characters in the mix, like from all eras, from all side series. Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of why I love Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled so much. They pull characters from all over the Crash Bandicoot franchise. It really does feel like a celebration of every game in that series. I mean, unfortunately with Mario, he just has so many games. Like, for every game Crash Bandicoot has, Mario probably has like 5. Sure. And you're not going to be able to reference every single game in the series.
Well, and this is a topic that Jeff and I actually, we did a whole conversation about this, and we specifically used the Crash Racing as our like counterpoint to how allergic the Donkey Kong stewards were of using Donkey Kong characters.
Right.
In the retro era specifically, but like, it is like something Nintendo's always been weird about. And I do think they're getting away from that. I think this new era, Miyamoto's kind of letting off the reins a little bit while he's focusing on theme parks and Hollywood, and he's just kind of letting them go hog wild with some of the stuff they want. So I think where Mario Kart World settled on in particular was, let's go heavy on the meme characters, on these NPC characters who are made good. And that's a good way to launch the game because you're going to get a lot of social media interaction with people posing cow and their favorite rando Mario baddies who you can finally play as in a Mario Kart. It's about like the elevation of these minor characters in the Mario ethos. And I think that makes sense because the characters that people will actually pony up for money-wise. I'm not talking about like any ponies from the Mario Sports Superstars, but the characters that they will plunk down real Earth currency for, save those for DLC. So we could, be looking at a DLC cycle that never ends, or at least goes on for years and years. Obviously, they don't want to talk about that so close to the system's launch and the game's launch, because that would put people off. It's already a big controversial talking point, is the Switch 2 pricing. So
right.
I do think that's where we're going to get the Kongs. I do think that's where we're going to get some more... I don't know how deep they would go. Like Mario RPG characters, we'll see. I'll believe it when I see it.
They just seem so against ever using characters from Mario RPGs. So
but
I'm so accustomed to having that be the case that I can't see it happening, but, never say never.
The thing is, as a Donkey Kong fan, I'm a Donkey Kong fan, Dustin. A little secret about me.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. I'm revealing some hidden truths about myself tonight. But as a Donkey Kong fan, I never thought I would see Swanky Kong again or Chunky Kong again. I never thought the Northern Hemisphere would be referenced again. And then in the space of 2 years, I have been shocked several times over. And I think it does maybe open me up to the possibility. And I don't speak as any great expert or even any casual observer of the Mario RPG games, but I do think where they legally can use some of those characters in a very easy manner. I'm not talking about Geno or anything that Square would have like co-ownership of, but some of the other ones, I could see that happening.
Yeah, like some Paper Mario characters, Mario and Luigi characters. Yeah, I'd love to see it.
Yeah. So, for me, it's Super Mario Brothers 2 characters that haven't been seen in years. That were such a big part of my Mario fandom pre-Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, it's strange to me that most of them just have never come back. It really is just Birdo and... Shy Guys, some other stuff like Bob-ombs too, but like the big actual characters, they just really seemed stuck in Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, and so I would love, like, Mouser was such a big part.
Mouser would be great.
He was such a big part of Mario media when I was a very little kid. Like, Mouser would be in the coloring books. He would be on like birthday cups and Mouser was birthday cups, those little paper cups.
The birthday cups
for your birthday party. If you have a Super Mario themed birthday party, what characters are going to use? Well, there's only a couple Mario games at this point, so you're going to draw from Super Mario Brothers and you're going to draw from Super Mario Brothers 2. And Super Mario Brothers 2
Mouser
has some of the most colorful characters. So Mouser and I miss Wart, yeah, but I miss Mouser. Mouser was in the cartoon, man. He was in the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
That's true. I remember.
And I know.
It is... Wart especially feels weird. Maybe they just feel like it would be... maybe they just don't need him with Bowser, but that feels like it shouldn't be the case. You can have both. You have King Boo. There's plenty of room for kings.
Yeah. So, I do think that I understand where they approached the roster from launch for this. And I think part of the game's enduring appeal will be those DLC characters. And, I know people hate the idea of paid DLC, especially Nintendo fans, because it's not something that, is even still in the Nintendo culture. At this point, but
right, like we don't even know if they are going to do DLC. Like it seems like a game where they definitely will, but it's not like they've confirmed anything at this point. It's just speculative.
Well, of course they haven't confirmed it because again, that would be a PR disaster right now. But the lesson they've learned from Mario Kart Tour, of course, there's going to be DLC in this, and they've learned that a sicko out there will spend $39.99 to play as Dixie Kong. I taught them that.
I probably would. I'd rather not, but I probably would.
Yeah. So, thank you for the call. Let's play our sixth caller.
Okay.
Hello, DK Line. This is Chocolate Milk Drinker, and oh my goodness, Mario Kart World's such a good game. I can't get over it. I think I have like an actual addiction, chronicle addiction to this game. It is so good. I can't express it. I cannot express it. I love playing as DK. He has such good expressions. Like, oh my goodness. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I'm probably going to play like 5 billion more hours in it before Bonanza comes out. Absolutely my game of the year until Bonanza comes out. But only absolute everything in this game is incredible. But the one thing I want to talk about is that a lack of DK content. I thought like Diddy or like Funky were going to be like a playable character, like a secret, but it's surprising there was nothing at all. So like, but I think there's like a 99.99% chance we're going to get Donkey Kong themed DLC. It's already, I mean, literally like a few days before the game was even going to come out, we had a report from the game's producer that they basically confirmed Diddy Kong and 200cc as free DLC or DLC of some sort. So I'm going to be super surprised if we don't get any DLC at all. Like, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's always into like the swap spit with Mario Kart and Smash Bros. Having DLC. And like it's going to happen. I think Donkey Kong themed DLC has the best chance of getting in. Like, I can't really think of what else they could do besides another Booster Course Pass. I really hope they add a bunch of new characters besides Diddy, Funky. I'd love Dixie, Cranky, K-Rool. Maybe DK64 Kongs. They want to push it. But that's all I got to say. Goodbye. Hope I get on next.
Thank you, Chocolate Milk Drinker. That was Chocolate Milk Drinker before we discussed them with our little comments about the Moo Moo.
We just think we're so fucking funny, don't we, Hyle?
Yeah, I know, and it's a real problem for us. It's honestly, we really should just be approaching this from a harsh, like, German expressionist kind of sensibility.
That's true. I've been saying that for years, honestly.
We really should, like, Werner Herzog. I think that should be our new role model. Doing the conversation as the most dour, downtrodden souls imaginable. I think that would be a fresh take, maybe for season 14. But yeah, so every time I predict like Donkey Kong themed DLC, it kind of misses the mark. Like, the closest we got was the last wave of the Booster Course Pass in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because we had Diddy, we had Funky, we had Pauline, but then it was Peachette?
Yeah, Peachette.
Yeah, Peachette instead of Dixie. So it's like, well, they couldn't quite make it all Donkey Kong. They almost got there. But then they're like, no. So, that being said, Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out July 17th. Now, do I think we're going to get Donkey Kong themed DLC for Mario Kart World that ties into Bonanza? That's a prevailing theory, but I could also see them waiting a bit longer to pull the DLC ripcord. Like, I could see it being something that happens towards the end of the year, towards the holidays, like, get those extra
give the game a little time on its own.
Give the game a little time of its own, and then open up those extra revenue streams close to the holiday season. So it's something people are buying in addition to buying the Switch 2 and Mario Kart World. But yeah, Diddy is, I wouldn't say basically confirmed, but yes, in that interview with IGN, the game's producer did do a little bit of bobbing and weaving, trying to get away from the, like, to IGN's credit, you know, I've had my issues with IGN over the years, for sure, but to IGN's credit, they asked point blank, where's Diddy Kong?
Where is Diddy?
Out of all the characters they could have brought up, they brought up Diddy, and they're just like, I can't comment on that right now.
Yeah, it's weird that they wrote that out in the interview. That
I know. I hate that in interview transcripts when they have to like make every noise and people say. Like you can cut that out. That's fine in a transcript. We don't need that fidelity to everybody's vocal tics. You don't need to say IGN. It's just weird and upsetting. Don't do it.
Yeah, get the important stuff.
So yeah, like I think Diddy is a sure thing, especially because look, and I know I am the person who's been running around in diapers for 8 years saying EPD has big plans for Donkey Kong, but EPD has big plans for Donkey Kong. We're seeing it in action right now, buddy. Donkey Kong Bonanza's coming out in a little under 5 weeks. My nipples are so pert when I say that.
It is a little weird that it was just the one diaper you were wearing, though. You were supposed to change it every now and then.
It's my good luck tradition. It's the same way sports fans don't wash their jerseys during playoff season. And you know what?
It's exactly the same.
I don't change my diaper between Donkey Kong releases. And it just, you know, the more it fills up, the better our luck, the better our odds. And look, it worked. We're getting a 3D Donkey Kong game. We haven't gotten that since 1999. You're welcome, everybody. But
yeah, I guess that's true. I guess you can't argue with the results.
But here's the thing, okay? There has always been this disconnect between the Donkey Kong series and appearances of Donkey Kong in things like Mario Kart, because Donkey Kong Donkey Kong since 1994, with the small, brief dalliance that was Jungle Beat, Donkey Kong has never been an internally developed franchise in Nintendo's primary hub, EAD, and then EPD. So now things are different. And so now you're going to have greater crossover between Donkey Kong and Mario, or at least the opportunity will arise. Again, I think they will keep them separate.
Right.
Where it makes sense. We're not going to just see a complete bleed through, and that's why I don't think necessarily we would see something like K. Rool in Mario Kart. That might be a little bit too far, but Diddy, Funky, Dixie, anybody who has been in Mario Kart, and I would say Cranky is definitely kind of like the movie established it, and I would think that they would follow its lead. But yeah, like I think, like, you look at the guest characters in Mario Kart 8, like, and 8 Deluxe's, like, the guest characters from outside the Mario Donkey Kong sphere. You had Nintendo EPD characters. Like, you know, here's Splatoon, here's Zelda, or here's from Zelda, Link.
Animal Crossing,
yeah, so they do consider Donkey Kong a separate brand, just with a greater degree of intersection with Mario. I mean, sister series, right, as I've coined it. So I think you will see certain characters pulled from the Donkey Kong series for sure. And it's going to be a little bit of an easier pull than something like a Mario RPG character or a Mario sub-series that wasn't developed internally.
Like a WarioWare character.
Yeah.
As much as I'd love to see that as well, I think... I personally feel like if you can have Kongs in there, you can have Wario characters as well. But that's a whole different argument, a whole different rant.
Yeah. So, I'm feeling optimistic about Donkey Kong's future as it relates to, well, anything. But when we're talking about characters that could show up in Mario Kart, like, I'm not worried about the Kongs in this at all. It's not like Mario Kart 8 where I had flop sweat the entire time, and then the flop sweat turned to tears.
But then eventually turned to a big happy smile, right?
I mean, yeah, it only took a decade, sure, and I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be a decade to get at least Diddy in this, and I think I would be flabbergasted if it didn't happen within a year, and honestly, within this year, 2025.
Right.
We'll see.
I hope so.
Yeah. All right. One more call.
One more call.
You can
You know
do
what?
it.
I could fit one more.
All right. You know what? I didn't know how much I could squeeze inside of your mouth, Dustin, but we're going to try. And I don't know why I'm putting the calls in your mouth. Your ears would probably be preferable, but...
Yeah, but I got a little more room back here for one more, I think.
Okay. All right. And it's all connected anyway, Free roam. All right. Let's go.
Yo, Hyle and Dustin, what's up? It's me, Skips. Yeah, Mario Kart World's been pretty fun. I will say it's a bit pricey. I don't think the game is worth to be $80, because that's why I got the bundle with the Switch, so it's a bit cheaper. But yeah, the game has been really fun. Knockout Tour might be one of the best things they've ever made. So with the idea of now that the devs have talked about Diddy Kong in that one interview, they can't say anything about him at the moment when they were having that interview. It did give me an idea for a character if they do this hypothetical Donkey Kong expansion pack for Mario Kart World. Since there's a bunch of returning carts from other Mario Karts, especially from DS, you have the B-Dasher. Then you have other carts that are just based on NPC characters that are playable, like the Bitty Buggy and the Dolphin. What if we get Rambi, but on the Rambi rider for Mario Kart DS? I think that'd be a pretty cool character since they already have the cow. They could definitely get Rambi as a character if they do this Donkey Kong expansion pack as we're theorizing. So yeah, hope you guys have a good day and keep enjoying Mario Kart.
Well, thank you for the call, Skips. Yeah, Rambi as a actual playable character in Mario Kart. It wouldn't be the weirdest thing at this point. It wouldn't
I'd be down for it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the weirdest thing in Mario Kart World even. And, you could probably get away with it without having to establish whether Rambi has a posh accent or not. Because we don't know if the cow...
I'd be sweating the whole time.
We don't know if the cow can speak human languages or not. That's part of the fun. That's part of the goofiness of it. What is this cow doing does the cow even know? Does the cow even know what's going on? Or did
does this cow even have any idea how to work this car?
Did some maniac just strap this cow in and say, let's see what happens?
Yeah.
I was just waiting to see how you would yes and that. And you know what? I was not disappointed.
I'm glad. I really brought my A game with that one.
Chocolate Milk Drinker says, if Rambi is in Mario Kart World, I hope it's King's English Rambi. Well, maybe that could be... We
have a fan of King's English Rambi.
We do have a fan, and I will acknowledge it, but maybe that can be an alt costume. Maybe that could be the Rambi with the monocle and the top hat. And
they do have that for Yoshi and King Boo. You could totally do it for Rambi.
Maybe give Rambi the pipe, the Sherlock Holmes pipe. or maybe
you know what? I'm for it now.
Maybe the long cigarette holder, Audrey Hepburn, but
Right, he smokes, but he's classy.
Yeah. Just Andre says, Aristocramby. I like that.
I do like that.
Oh, Chocolate Milk Drinker specifies it can't be an alt. It has to be a regular Rambi made to speak the proper King's English. Well.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know how I feel about that. But, yeah, no, you could see, we know there's some affinity for the animal buddies.
Yeah.
We saw it pop up in Donkey Kong Adventure, which had to be vetted by the Donkey Kong's team. We didn't know what that meant at the time, but I'm assuming it was some input from EPD even before they got started really working on Bonanza. And they had the Animal Buddy weapons in that game, and the Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle DLC is what I'm talking about. And you have the 5 animal buddies from the original Donkey Kong Country represented in that. And, we know Rambi is going to be in Bonanza. So the ostriches have eyes, Dustin. Maybe we could have Winky and Espresso and Ingard. We have Dolphin. Why not Ingard?
That's true. There's nothing that really opened the floodgates for On Guard.
There's nothing in the rules that say a swordfish can't drive a go-kart.
I do kind of wonder, like, if we get a Donkey Kong expansion, could we possibly see some drones from Donkey Kong make their way in too?
Like Tiki Goons?
Could we get
or Crocoids?
You could maybe get a Tiki, maybe a Claptrap. The equivalent to like having a Goomba or a Dolphin or something.
Like a Naughty. Get a Naughty. We know Naughty fossils
get Naughty in there.
Are going to be in Bonanza.
Yeah, it's specifically the Naughty fossil.
Traveler of the Stars. Professor Chops is in Mario Kart. Hold on. It's the fossil.
And that's all you get. And you're going to like it.
So, another question about DLC, though.
Okay.
Would we get new tracks? And if so, how? And if so, where?
I mean, I think what comes to mind first is just adding a new land that you can go to. Have Donkey Kong Island with new tracks. And
Donkey Kong Island, you're going all in.
I'm going all in on Donkey Kong Island. But, it doesn't have to be. But I do think some sort of new land mass that has tracks, Donkey Kong themed tracks on it. Maybe you can just drive right across the ocean over to this new land mass from the main area. It just adds it onto the map.
Yeah, see, I'm not even thinking in terms of Donkey Kong and any potential Donkey Kong expansion. I'm just talking about in general. Like, I don't think there would be. Yeah, we're because at this point we're just talking about let's double the size of the game, but just with Donkey Kong shit, and I don't think that's what would happen.
No, I just mean like if it was a Donkey Kong expansion, I'm thinking like add one small landmass you can go to that maybe has like 4 tracks on it and connecting paths.
See, I'm thinking eventually we might see, an entirely new island that's maybe a little bit smaller, but it's you can maybe drive out to it over the ocean, or there is like a big bridge, like a Golden Gate Bridge or something, going across, and that will open up even more of the game, and I think that's definitely probably going to happen eventually.
I think you would need to do it that way if the whole point of the game is having it be an interconnected world with like tracks in actual locations connected to each other. I think if you're going to add new tracks as DLC, you have to incorporate that as well.
Yeah. I don't know like the game's operating budget and how much DLC would actually be allotted, but I would hope they would do it that way. Like, I obviously have it smaller. It doesn't have to be like we're doubling the size of the game, but
definitely not.
I do think it's important to keep the open world conceit even in DLC, because then you're just adding shit to your game and you're making it uglier.
Yeah, you don't want new tracks to be added, but having them feel disconnected from the rest of the game.
Yeah. And I think that's where I'm at, because I do want DLC. Obviously, I want my boy Diddy in here, but
right.
I view Mario Kart World as a lowercase r rare triumph. And Dustin, this is my favorite Mario Kart ever on any platform.
Wow. I guess they did a pretty good job.
They did a pretty good job on this. This is the Mario Kart that responds to most of my long-standing criticisms of Mario Kart. Now, it doesn't add a big lavish story with an extraterrestrial pig wizard man coming down and causing a bit of a ruckus, which I think is essential to most racing games. But even lacking that, having this interconnected world, and such a vibrant interconnected world, in my opinion, it adds so much context to the racing, the grandeur of Mario Kart as this in-universe event. I mean, even the photo mode does that with the like racing magazines you can pose your characters on, or the newspaper. It just makes it feel like, yeah, they're all here because Mario Kart, because it's time for a new Mario Kart. And that's, good enough for me, because the world itself feels like a real place. And that's what Diddy Kong Racing did. And that's what Mario Kart World finally does for Mario Kart. After past games like Double Dash merely suggested some sort of interconnected shared space, and Mario Kart 8 did the same, but it was still just a bunch of disparate races in these cups. And Mario Kart World finally does it.
Yay!
Yay! I mean, Dustin, how you feeling about it? I mean, would you go as far as me and say it's your favorite Mario Kart ever?
It's tough. I just don't want to make any definitive statements just yet. Like, it's only been a little over a week. I feel like I need to spend more time with it before I can say that, but I do really enjoy it a lot. I feel like it could be my favorite, just because, the stuff that's there really appeals to me more than past Mario. Like, being able to drive around this big open world, like, that's just more my cup of tea than just normal kart races. I love normal kart races, but I love exploration in games. I love driving around here.
Yeah.
And even besides that, stuff like Knockout Tour is a blast. It's so good. That might be my new favorite Mario Kart mode. Just that nonstop driving. Just, you don't stop until the end or you get knocked out.
Yeah.
It's super fun. I feel like it'll probably be my favorite. I just want to put a little more time into it before I say for sure, oh yeah. That, because maybe it is just recency bias. I don't think it is, but I'd want a little more time before I can say for sure.
I'm gonna up the ante here.
Whoa.
You ready for this?
I'm ready. I think I'm ready anyway.
I would say this is the first Mario Kart game that I can honestly, comfortably say does a lot of things better than Diddy Kong Racing.
Whoa. You know what it's not better at is having Diddy Kong in it, though.
You got me there. You got me there, my friend. But
it can't be better at everything. But
it can't be better at everything. But this Mario Kart game has actually eclipsed Diddy Kong Racing in a great many ways. Now, that being said, don't mistake what I just said. Okay? Please don't. I still like Diddy Kong Racing more as an overall package. I still love and adore Diddy Kong Racing in a way that Mario Kart World could never possibly match. Diddy Kong Racing is just so important to who I am in my fandom that, like, Mario Kart World is wonderful. And Mario Kart World also has the benefit of being on a modern Nintendo system when Diddy Kong Racing was on a Nintendo system in the year 1997. So, of course, Mario Kart World, I would hope it would do stuff better than Diddy Kong Racing, but that's my point. Up until now, I don't feel like any Mario Kart game has really done anything better or has been more ambitious than Diddy Kong Racing ever was. Your mileage may vary on that. You know, you might say, well, actually, I find the multiplayer in Mario Kart Wii to be, and I'm like, that's fine. But from my taste, I think Diddy Kong Racing, up until this point, has always excelled beyond what Mario Kart even dared to do. Right. Mario Kart World changes that. Mario Kart World finally does things that I can't do in Diddy Kong Racing. It gives me sensations that I will never know within the confines of Diddy Kong Racing. And in fact,
it lets you play as Fishbone. You can't do that in Diddy Kong Racing.
You can't do that in Diddy Kong Racing, but I'm more generally speaking about the open world. And
right.
Here's my deal. If the fabric of reality somehow broke open and God touched us and we were able to actually get a new Diddy Kong Racing or Donkey Kong Racing or Rare Racers game, some permutation of some sort of sequel to Diddy Kong Racing, and that game wasn't set in an open world, then I would say the Diddy Kong Racing brand has failed us, and Mario Kart has now forever eclipsed it as the true innovator in the kart racing genre.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yes, but that's a hypothetical, of course. Of course, I still love Diddy Kong Racing as it exists more, and the only reason it doesn't do what Mario Kart World does is because it came out nearly 30 years ago and it couldn't. But if it came out today, it would, because Diddy Kong Racing is better than Mario Kart World, except it's not, because Mario Kart World does things that Diddy Kong Racing does not do. Don't be mad at me, Diddy Kong Racing. I still love you. I'm just having
it's nothing personal.
I'm just having a real hot summer fling with Mario Kart World. And apparently, cow.
This has been a File 2 production.
Que rico.